Hey, comic book readers, and welcome to a live episode of Off the Rack. Like every week, it is live, unless you're catching this afterwards, in which case, of course, you are catching the replay, which we do appreciate. So give the video a like, and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell for notifications so you know when we are going live every week on Monday nights here at youtube.com/ComicPop Returns. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiff.
So we have a bunch of stuff happening that we want to get into. Obviously, New York Comic Con was just this past weekend. It was literally less than like 12 hours ago or whatever. Like we just
it's technically been 24 hours since it ended.
Okay, 24 hours since it's been over. So we're going to talk about New York Comic Con. We're going to talk about Werewolf by Night, because despite the fact that I didn't have a lot of time to read a lot of comics this week, I'm lamenting the fact that I didn't get a chance to read the new Batman and a plethora of other books.
There's a ridiculous amount of books.
So many books that we recommended last week that we wanted to check out and that we hope you checked out as well. By the way, I should mention that if you want to see your favorite series survive, the best way to do so is, unfortunately, by pre-ordering that book. If you are interested in pre-ordering that book and you don't have a comic book store nearby, contact a comic book store that you know ships nationally or internationally. That includes places like Midtown Comics that does that kind of thing. But you can do your own research and find out, and go to comicshoplocator.com to find a local comic book store in your area that will be able to supply your need, or your fix, that is to say. So yeah, we're going to talk about New York Comic Con. We're going to talk about Werewolf by Night, and we're going to talk about one comic book, arguably the biggest comic book from DC Comics, a publishing company that was not present at New York Comic Con for no good damn reason whatsoever.
No, they just stopped going to that one.
I guess, well, you know, with their fandom. Oh wait, that was canceled.
I think it's because it's across the country. They're like, screw it.
Yeah, I guess they were like that.
They're like,
yeah, you know what? We didn't go last year, and maybe we will never go.
Yeah, were they at San Diego?
Nope.
Okay, then I've got nothing.
No, I think that the new management at DC.
I guess they're like, we have Batman. We don't need to go anywhere.
Right.
You come to us.
No thanks. Now what?
Well, we'll just send our guys, because their guys are there.
They had a guy there who was coordinating talent.
Well, I meant like their writers and artists are there.
They don't send those people there.
No, I know, but they're there.
Yeah, like they're repping us. I mean, that
and like you can't, like, you walk down Artist Alley, you're gonna see Batman.
Yeah, you're gonna see Batman. You're gonna see DC reps. I mean, the reality is that is the marketing strategy, and I don't want to just bag on DC. DC and Marvel, their marketing strategy seems to be, you're welcome. We have some of the biggest comic book characters, and the people who write or draw them are lucky to be working on them, but we'll be damned if we spend a dime promoting any of them. But that's on you. You know, hey, while you're writing and drawing our favorite characters, could you also promote them for us?
Yeah. And you know how many like Bat cosplays or Bat ancillary cosplays I saw?
Most of them.
No, it is not most of them.
No, it really wasn't.
I did see a pretty spectacular Batman. I don't know if you saw him.
Was it Zerana? Because I saw him.
I did not see him. No, I saw a regular Batman. He was like a big.
I saw a big Batman.
He had like a big cape, and then he had the rods in them, so you could open it up.
Yes, I saw that Batman.
I was like,
on the main floor. I saw him like walking around. Yes.
Yeah.
We also saw, of course, some of the Dark Knights.
They were like all there.
Yeah. Oh, well, somebody was like really, really good at making cosplay and had them like on display and then put people in them, and they walked around.
There's a picture, I think, of
Snyder and Capullo with them.
Yeah, with them all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, we'll get into New York in a bit. What order do you want to do this in? I think we should wrap up with Werewolf by Night. So I guess we'll talk about New York Comic Con.
Yeah,
but before
let's start that as people are trickling in.
Exactly. We should also remind you that this show is sponsored by viewers like you, and nothing was more apparent to me that is a great way to do it than seeing potential sponsors at New York Comic Con and realizing I didn't want any of their money, and rather I'd have you guys support us, because then we can make a show that's for you. We could spend a good 5-10 minutes talking about cosplay at New York Comic Con and making a show that you want to watch, that you that represents your interests.
Exactly.
But that's the best way to do it, is to support us using super chats. Ask a question or comment here on the show, and we'll read it on the show, and you're part of the show. And it's a nice little tit for tat. But hey, listen, if you don't want to do that, you don't have a YouTube account, or you don't feel like doing all that, you can always go to patreon.com/ComicPop, and you can have early behind the curtain access to the goings on at ComicPop. I'm very excited.
Behind the curtain, like
shh, don't tell anybody. Like, for example, I made a thumbnail of a back issues that won't be out for a while, or maybe it'll be out soon. It depends. I kind of feel like since we shot a back issues at New York Comic Con, we should probably have that out sooner rather than later.
That's fine.
We'll see.
Listen, next year I'll shoot for a whole spooky month.
I think that'd be great.
I think
planning it would be a good idea. You know what we should do?
We try to, and then
everyone's freaking busy.
We
should do? We should shoot it all in November and then put it out in October.
A whole year?
Just hang on to it for a year, like my JLA Predator episode.
That's insane. No, what I should have done is
we should have shot it all in August.
Seen that, coming. I just didn't see it coming, the calendar wise.
No, me either. Honestly,
that's my fault.
And that's no. You know what? I should have. I technically call myself the CEO of this company. You're COO, by the way. But so that is kind of on you. But
I'm cool.
I'm gonna bear some of the burden on that. I should have been better coordinating. But the fact is, neither of us could have foreseen the staggering drawing power of the employment for both Ben and Ethan, and how often they would be called away. And how busy they would be.
Well, yeah, and there was just a lot. And
it was a lot. Everybody was busy.
We're not going to have a Halloween episode. That's happening. That's
Is
happening.
It?
Oh yeah, it's happening.
Okay.
I already told them it's happening. You shouldn't pay attention in the
I was I was, but I don't know what book it is, and B, I don't know when the hell you're going to do it.
I already scheduled it.
You did?
Yeah.
All right. It's not this week.
No, it's next week.
All right. Good to know. As the editor, I should know these things.
I told you it.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in the chat.
Great. That's a great place for it to go.
It's in the chat.
It's not like everyone's talking all the time.
No. But they've hit it.
And things get lost.
They better be. I better double check with them.
You better, because there's no way they know. But yeah.
Damn it, they all agree.
Speaking of New York Comic Con, we were there and we had a great time. It may be the last time we were there as press.
No, that's very true. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Still like
no, it's not okay. It's really frustrating, and it'll be very difficult for us to coordinate around that show if we don't get press again. But I think we covered the hell out of this show.
We have you've made a lot of connections.
I have made
and people
a
still
few connections.
We still rep the channel.
Yeah. Oh no, the thing is the badges don't do anything for the channel. It doesn't change anything about our access. It doesn't change. Well, it
lets you get in early, to you, but we never.
Not even really that early.
Go
it's
early.
We have there's access to places for us to coordinate a little better.
Yeah, no, it's true.
But I think we rep the show pretty well this year. Not to toot our own horns, but I think if you follow us at The Real Zoobs on Twitter or myself at Sal Says What, you will see a plethora of posts, and you will continue to see posts about New York Comic Con, and only highlighting some fun stuff for the next week at least. Fun pictures of us doing things and being with people, and of course you can also follow us on Instagram at ComicPop Official, where you'll see some more pictures and stuff.
Yep.
Originally the plan was for me to interview a handful of creators for CBR. If we haven't talked about it before, we certainly have, but if you haven't heard it before, I'm occasionally writing columns for CBR, that is to say, formerly Comic Book Resources. I don't think they call themselves that. I think they just call themselves CBR. But I write articles for CBR every once in a while. It's certainly more while than once. But as a result of that, I was able to somehow bullshit my way into the Skybox and allow me to talk to a few high-profile creators and chat with them for their channel, CBR Presents.
Yeah.
Which actually we should have called our channel. Instead of ComicPop Returns, it should be ComicPop Presents. That would have been kind of a fun name.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That's fine.
That would have been CPP.
CPP, and I don't like that. I like CPR. It means we were resuscitating our own careers.
That's right.
With a new channel, which is almost 2 years old. I think we're at 140 something episodes of this show. But yeah, if you haven't already checked them out, they are available all across our social medias. But I chatted with Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo at the same time just to talk about Batman Spawn 3.
Yeah.
Which I was very happy to do.
That was a good pairing of you with them.
It's true. Yeah. There were a few others that I was like, oh man, we had set up the Todd, Greg, me interview weeks ago, a while ago. But then when I found out that Tom was going to be on and that Josh Williamson was going to be there, I'm like, really? Not me? Josh was very, I'm sure he had a great time with his interview. He did. It was a great show.
That's not a problem. But he was at first he was like, are you doing it?
Yeah, because Josh came in after Todd and Greg. He's like, are we doing the interview? I'm like, and then Sean was like, I'm doing it. He's like, oh, it's going to be great anyway. And it was. It was actually really good. Yeah. I got to watch it and it was fun. But we're going to just have Josh on the show anyway.
Yeah.
That'll be the way to.
Not with me.
No, probably not. But yeah, Todd and Greg were great, and the episode, I think you're gonna enjoy it. It's only about 8 or 9 minutes long.
Yeah, it's super short for us.
Well, and unfortunately, that is only because of the coordinating. We just didn't have the way the schedules worked out. They only had so much time before the next one came in, and it was just a revolving door of awesome people coming in.
Can I humble brag for you?
Why not?
Can I humble brag for you?
I'll allow it.
I don't think you're gonna bring it up, but apparently when Todd got there super early, and so when like Sal showed up, like Sal's point of contact was like, "Oh hey Todd, this is Sal," and Todd was like, "Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
I know Sal."
Yeah, he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I know Sal. We go back."
I thought it was really nice that
yeah.
he remembered.
Yeah,
But that's the kind of business acumen you expect from Todd McFarlane.
this is true. No, this dude is, he's a workhorse and a machine. But great episode. And I was really happy that we got a chance to do it. And then at the last minute, Tiffany was tapped to do an interview with Zeb Wells.
I did.
Writer of Amazing Spider-Man in the upcoming Dark Web event.
I did.
And I the fact is, I think Tiffany did a fantastic job. I think it's a really fun conversation. And before we all give Zeb a hard time, because I've been very critical of his Amazing Spider-Man run, I don't not like Zeb Wells, and I should say he's written almost all, if not all, of the Star Wars Robot Chicken episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like effing hilarious.
No, he is, and he's
and a kind man.
Before I found out I was doing it, I actually went to him and I got a signature on my Hellions #1, and like he was super excited to see it. He loved that book. Like, you know, we chatted about it for a while. Like, and he's just a nice guy.
Yeah,
like he's just a nice, quirky, kind of fun guy. And like he loved that book a lot.
You could tell. I mean,
he did say, he's like, you know, I was sad to have it end. He's like, but they gave me enough notice.
Right.
Which I was like, it totally felt like that. I was like, at least you got to end the book. He's like, yeah, they gave me enough notice so that I was able to finish the story and like end the book.
Right.
And I was like, I really appreciate that. I love that.
Which I think is fun, because that is actually juxtaposed against another former X-Men writer and their experience with the with the title. And because Tiffany, of course, went to Artist Alley and met with Zeb Wells and had him sign her copy of Hellions, which has its own acute, fun story associated with it. But you also brought your Hawks and Pox hardcover to one Jonathan Hickman.
I did.
Who was less than excited about.
He wasn't not excited. I think he didn't know what was going to happen, because like he was there obviously with
promoting Three Worlds.
Mike Belmondo, with promoting Three Worlds, Three
Moons.
So like, but he also did have like X-Men on the table, but like clearly he was really there to kind of promote that. Before we knew he was going to be doing anything else with Marvel, because I went to see him before the announcement.
You saw him like an hour or two before the announcement that he was doing magic.
So I brought him the book, and like I think he didn't know if I was going to be one of those people who was like, "Hey, when are you coming back?" Blah blah blah.
No,
and, so like he just kind of took it.
He was like, "Yeah."
I asked if he would like sign it to me, and I just said, "Hey, I really appreciated the story you told."
Right.
And that was it. Like I was like, you were like one of the first like writers that I felt like I could get into the book, and that was it. Like I left it really like that. It was not a bad experience.
It's just too bad that we didn't get a chance to see him after.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not sure what the hell that means,
it was much crazier.
I'm sure
that afterwards.
I love when that happens. By the way, we've done that a number of times at New York Comic Con or other Comic Cons where like we'll be talking to somebody and then like a big thing will happen. I remember at Baltimore Comic Con, we were just starting out. We were interviewing one of these different creators, and I interviewed David Peterson of Mouse Guard fame. And big booth, but like, you know, he'd been plunking away at Mouse Guard forever. We had talked, and it was easy. It was no wait. Just such a sweet, humble guy. Still is, by the way. But and then that night he won the Eisner, or the Harvey Award, I should say. And then he was like, and Mouse Guard had just at that point exploded.
Yeah.
Similarly, I remember David Pepos being at Baltimore Comic Con last year, and then him winning winning a Ringo Award. For his independent work, and then he blew up, and suddenly he's on Savage Avengers, like wrecking things with Deathlocks and Punisher 2099s, and it's great. In fact, you know, David's aware of the show, and we chatted with him a little bit actually yesterday.
You did. I didn't. I literally.
Well, I say we. I'm referring to the entity that is.
Okay. Yeah. No. Because like literally every time I'd go back past his booth, he wasn't there. He was someplace else doing something else. Like every single time.
Yeah.
The booth. I was like, damn it. Like,
I know. But he's such a sweet dude, and
awesome.
and you know, and genuinely talented as well.
That's great.
We dig Savage Avengers, and we dig what he's working on. He's got more coming on.
I also had a chance. I got Moon Knight signed by Jed McKay.
That's right, you did. How was that? We didn't actually.
I was there by myself, and I went up to him, and I was like, "That is Jed McKay," and he was by himself. Like, I gotta tell you guys, some of the creators, like, if they're with a group, it's a very different experience, I think, for them than if they're there on their own. And like McKay was definitely there, just
repping himself,
and like he was just there. Like it was like to know like.
Fanfare
explosion. I felt really bad, honestly. But I brought him Moon Knight, and I want to tell you guys, I made sure to mention that like anyone I talk to about this book, because I never like to be like, I do a show, and on that show we talk about. No,
it's very rare we talk
all I
about
said
that.
was anyone I talked to about this book loves this book. It really seems to resonate with everybody. So I tried to pass along the love that the comic pop community has
For
to
Moon Knight,
him,
yes.
without trying to
yourself
to humble brag myself.
exactly.
So, like, which he was very, very like appreciative.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, it's so great to hear that it resonates with people.
Oh, that's great.
And like he really likes this book. And like when I was like, I can't wait for more. And he's like, the next issue's out like this week or is it next week? I don't remember.
I think it's next
But
week.
more is coming.
Oh,
I was like, okay, thank you. It was really nice. So,
Yeah.
just a nice dude. And yeah, you know, if you ever see a creator like that that you happen to like and they're like there on their own, like
Definitely say something nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
give him a little something.
Yeah. So, but like I try to pass it along, guys.
Yeah, I talked to Dubbers,
did?
which was a lot of fun. That's to
Mhm.
say D Dubs or Daniel Warren Johnson, which is like my I'm trying to make Dubbers work as a nickname.
I know you are.
Hey, Dubbers, what's up? But no, he was there, and again, he's represented by Felix, and he was super friendly and fun, and we chat a little bit about like, and here's a little fun inside info about Beta Ray Bill, which is an incredible series that you should definitely buy, and if you haven't already, you should pick it up. But the opening issue is, of course, like Fin Fang Foom possessed by a symbiote thanks to Null, and he's fighting Asgard. And when they first pitched the idea, they were like, "Oh, it'd be awesome if like some alien force came in to attack Asgard. What about the Brood?" And he was like, "Fuck drawing all of those little aliens. How about just this?"
That's
And it was
awesome.
just one effing dragon. Of course, it's Fin Fang Foom. Like,
Mhm.
and I love that little behind the scenes tidbits
Yeah.
about that kind of thing. And I picked up a hardcover of Murder Falcon, and he did a remark for me of just this big. I love how he's drawing. He's like, I love how he gets more yoked every time I draw him. He's just more. And he pulled
It's-
out this Posca pen with like this fucking chisel, and he's just like, "Meh."
Yeah, you
Watching
showed
him
us
draw
yours.
is
It's really cool.
is just a rare privilege. So you should definitely go subscribe to Dubber's channel
Yeah.
and watch him on Fridays. Just draw the shit out of things. I got to see him make those onomatopoeias that he
Mhm.
works on. How he does those in the last episode is so great.
Yeah, that's like honestly something else that's interesting too. Like if you're ever in Artist Alley, like don't go and like booth barnacle them or like stare at them for too long, but like check out the artists when they're drawing because sometimes they'll play it down. And you can like I'll like maybe watch them for like 30 seconds,
Right.
just to see what they're doing. It's incredible.
Yeah. No, it's
incredible
true.
to watch them do it because it's like it's such. For them, it's like, yeah, they're just doing it. But like, if you think about it, they're doing it in a very public place.
Yeah.
And like all their like talent and mistakes are on display. It's just really fascinating. And I love doing it. Like,
Yeah.
I love like just checking in. You also get to see because they're clearly working on commissions.
Oh
Because
yeah.
they tend to have lists.
That they set up ahead of time, like
Sometimes
before the
they set
con
up
even
ahead- but
started.
Sometimes they'll have signs that are like, commissions are still open. And so if you get there soon enough, you might be able to get on a commission list to
Yeah.
get something like that weekend. So
Yeah.
it's pretty like it's cool to check out.
It's true.
Yeah, Mateo Lally was there. Like, there's so much good art, and like I've just run out of space for things.
Yeah,
There's so many people there that I was like, I can't believe these people are here.
I know.
I never got to see Alvaro Martinez Bueno. Like, I had the book, he
I
was on
know.
lunch, and then I never got back.
I'm
there.
sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I was like, dang.
Yeah,
But I did get to meet Peach Momoko.
you did, and it was before the whole controversy took place. It was really nice that you got like a
when
pleasant
did
experience.
that happen?
I think that either that day, like later that day, or the following day.
Yeah,
but,
I had an opportunity, and like, she was delightful.
Yeah, no, and there's the controversy is not in any way. I shouldn't like suggest that without any context. Like Peach Momoko did nothing wrong. It was just her situation where like she had a huge line. She had a lot of people who wanted like to meet her and get her signature and more importantly get some drawings from her. And she was like the prices were ridiculously fair, like lower than fair. Like
Yeah.
and as a result it caused like a madhouse for like access and it caused like people to behave inhumanely to each other and
Yeah,
it really
and-
it really annoyed the shit out of me
Well, there's a couple of things going on there.
because they were
It's
like yeah they were getting her art but they weren't going to keep it, they were trying to resell it.
Yeah, and like so, like when I met her, it was in a completely different situation because I didn't see her in Artist Alley, right? Which now I get that sign. There was
Yeah.
literally a sign on her booth that says like Peach will not be signing at this location any
Yeah.
longer.
That was her booth at the, and I remember actually going to that area. I jumped into the Dan Mora line very early on in the
Mhm.
day, on the first day, and it was only 6 or 7 people, and I'm like, and the line wasn't moving. I think that they were doing something, and I was like,
Mhm.
you know what, I'll leave. And I go by and I saw Peach Momoko's line, and was already like the length of a row of tables.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this is gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
And I went upstairs and I saw that Midtown Comics had coordinated a few like key signings, and
Mhm.
one of them was Peach Momoko.
Yep.
And it was one of those things where it was a ticketed thing. There
Mhm.
was no like, there was a maximum amount of people that could be there, and around that time,
Mhm.
and so around the next day.
Mhm.
So I inquired, I found out when that was going to be, and then we coordinated to make sure that someone got in that line to get a ticket for that signing, and
It
you
was
were the
me,
benefit of that.
and I had like it was a like my experience with her was memorable and
Right. And
wonderful.
yes.
And Midtown, of course, Midtown ran the signatures for that, so like there was a fair price for things, like
Yes.
right, because like really what the deal was, like you had to purchase something from Midtown.
Right.
You got to purchase one thing, and then you could get two, and then Peach said you could get five. She was like, no, they can do five apparently.
Oh.
And then they were like, we'll see.
Yeah, because they know. Well,
They
and
were taking control of the situation, and I was like, you know what? She really needs to get into one of those groups that can like help
that can
to
handle
run that
that.
for her, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like she like I don't know if she have any like American conventions she's done, right?
I
But,
don't
like,
know.
it was a delightful experience I had with her. I came up, I asked if they would personalize. Her handler helped to translate that
Mhm.
because English is not
Her first language.
nope at all. So she mainly speaks Japanese, obviously, and they worked it out. She made one mistake in my name, and then I was like, no, I love that. It's
Yeah.
like she put in this little tiny N. I loved the experience. She got the other one correctly, and
Yeah.
like she was just such a nice person. And it really like disappoints me in comic book fans
Yeah.
and convention goers. The people who put her in a position like this, because don't forget her culture is very different.
Yeah.
And so like she has a certain expectation on like how decorum and etiquette is going to go, and
Yeah.
like we didn't show our best side, guys, and like I gotta tell you that sucks.
Yeah.
Like that just sucks.
Well, and the
Like,
worst of it, like, not just being terrible cultural ambassadors, is that we will then miss out on genuine experiences in the future. Like, if you think it's limited to just Peach Momoko, you're crazy. The fact is, like, we need to be our best selves in public, particularly in these kinds of like exchanges, so that we can continue to have them in the future. It's like the expression, we can't have nice things.
Yeah, that's literally it. But that's why like listen, I this is my personal preference, but like anytime I get a signature for someone, I ask like, will you personalize it? Because like
Yeah.
what I want to say to them is like, and again, you don't have to do this. Like if like you may have the intention of never like getting rid of your signatures, right?
Yeah.
Like you just want the signature, that's fine. But like that's my way of being like, this is for me.
Right, exactly. Like, I'm not gonna don't put this
I'm-
out to my good friend, but they only respond to initials. His name's CGC. Yeah.
But like it sucks, and like I didn't know anything about this, like, and I'm like
No.
I'm very glad I met her before it.
Yes.
Because like it
Would have been weird.
She was just so
Yeah.
nice.
I know. No,
Like,
and she was.
so nice.
No, she issued a formal apology for the whole situation, which of course she had no, like, she shouldn't have done.
She
Not
didn't have
because
to
it
do
was
that.
her, fault. I'm just saying, like, she shouldn't have felt obligated to do that.
Yeah.
And so, that really blows.
Yeah.
Overall, however, for us, it was a great
Oh
experience.
yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Not just meeting her, but also, of course, doing the show. And like,
Yeah,
Ben and Ethan
no.
were there. Tiffany was there.
Mhm.
We got to sell some of these smart-looking ComicPop caps, which, of course,
Yeah.
are embroidered and look really dope. We had a signing at the Kubert School booth on
Mhm.
Saturday, and quite a few members of the population came. And if you actually look at my Twitter, you'll see a retweet of one of our intrepid members of the audience who shared just a smattering, if you will, of the wares that we had available.
Yes.
And so you can see them for yourselves. But I was very happy to, felt good to see us sell some hats, because we went to, when we did ZapCon, we sold 0 hats, and we were like, shouldn't have banked on those hats. I've wanted ComicPop hats, and I remember like the audience asking for it for like a decade.
To be fair, somehow Ethan missed that we had them, and when he saw them, he was like, "We have hats."
He was like, first he was like, "Oh man, we have hats," and then he saw how like the quality. I'm not blowing smoke, but he was like, "These are really good hats. Like, I want one of these." So we gave him a hat.
He got a hat for free.
He gets a hat for free.
We also had an opportunity to, and anyway, everyone had this opportunity. This wasn't because like it was us. It was put on our radar because of our like channel.
Yeah.
So we were able to go to it. Like, and again, anyone was able to go to it, but we went to the Sandman Audible
experience. Yes.
Which
was offsite.
We usually don't do offsite experiences because I'm like, whatever. And like, so we were walking by it, and Sal was like, I did reach out to them. They said you could come. We could come
they
by.
did encourage us to go.
And I got to tell you, that was an incredible 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The whole group went, and we all left like
whoa.
Like, and we had people in our group who were really unfamiliar with the world of Sandman.
Yep.
And like just the experience itself was amazing. It was very much one of those like art things brought to life, like one of those
Yes.
art experiences brought to life. It was well thought out.
Like creative people worked on it,
Yeah,
and it wasn't like they broke the bank doing it.
No,
but it also didn't look cheap.
no, and it was like I wish
was
they could
careful.
have done it for all of these, but we're now on volume 3, and I'm like, damn, they're not going to go back and like
do them over
Yeah,
again.
but it was 15 minutes, a completely free experience, and it was like I was like, oh, I wanted more.
Yeah,
but like it was free. It was,
you shot some stuff. We should put that together and release it ASAP.
yeah, because it was honestly, it was utterly incredible, and I loved it.
Yeah, I should say that there is a member of our audience who is in the chat right now who should have unfortunately wasn't able to make it at New York Comic Con. I should just tell him to post their art on Instagram.
Yeah, please just post your art. We had this
because I haven't seen it yet, and
Nope.
I know we talked about this at the last
Yeah,
convention,
you haven't
and I
emailed
told
us
you
anything.
you know that and it's been I don't want to have to run into you at the next show and have this exact conversation. So
Because
let's just wrap it up now and
Let's
say
let's get that art
you're gonna get your
posted.
art
Let's
posted.
just-
When he does, you'll see it, and it's gonna be great.
and okay. Additionally, oh no, you go ahead.
No.
I gotta look up the name of something.
Okay. Well, in addition to that, you know, obviously, you know, your convention experience is limited to like your access, availability, time, and we were able to dedicate more of it than your average goer. But I should say we had a great time. We had a lot of fun, and we had a lot of great interactions. I don't think we had any. We didn't go to any of the industry parties. Not that we were invited to any, but you know, but
No,
we were invited to one or two of them, and unfortunately, by the last one that we were invited to, we couldn't make it, and I do apologize to my good friends over there for not being able to go.
Yeah,
to that.
we were just wiped.
we were just so
destroyed
fucked, and
Sunday.
you know, but we had a great time. The con is a really fun experience. I hope everyone was safe and healthy and had a great time. If you did go, and if you don't, I would recommend checking it out.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, listen, it's not even over.
No, it's
because
true.
Baltimore Comic-Con is coming.
Yeah, and we're gonna go to that.
And we're going to that. So if
Yeah.
you are interested in going and seeing us at Baltimore Comic-Con, we are not going to have any panels. We are not going to have any booths.
No, it's just like con we like to go to. So if you see us, please say hello. And we did notice that people did like take us up on that.
Oh,
Like, if
yeah,
you saw us on the floor, people said hello.
and
like,
we took
thank you for
pictures,
doing
and
that.
we will always do that. So like
even if you just want to say hi,
if
like,
you just want to say hi, but like if you
it's
want to do a
totally
pic, we'll
fine.
do it. But yeah, yeah.
I was gonna say, additionally, the floor itself, they had opened it up this year. The
Yes.
Javits extended the size, or not the Javits, but New York Comic Con
Yeah.
took over where the panel rooms were.
Mhm.
Apparently, there's a door there, a
Yes.
huge wall, like Javits-sized door that they could open up, and so they pushed a bunch of the con out to there.
Yep.
So they were able to add some booths, but also widen a few aisles here and there.
Yeah.
Some areas were still totally screwed.
Yes.
I don't know why, but
Mhm.
they definitely were. There were still a whole bunch of choke points, but the main aisles was a lot easier to get across. So
Yes.
you were less like congested every single place.
Yeah.
There was also a very large anime presence this year.
Mm,
So if you were an anime fan, there was a lot for you. I felt like this year more so than in past years.
yeah.
But going back to the art thing,
Yes.
like post your art, and here's why: because you never know what's going to happen. In New York Comic Con and Artist Alley, there was a booth there that was supposed to be filled by an artist, but unfortunately,
They passed away.
they passed away. He had I'm going to butcher his name because he's a Korean artist,
Yes.
but it was Kim Jung-gi.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never seen his art or the way in which he created his art, please, when we're done with this video, go check him out because he's absolutely incredible. And unfortunately, I think on his way to flying out,
Yeah.
he had suffered from a heart attack,
Yeah.
and they were unable to do anything to help him. He was quite young.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But the way in which they honored him at the show, I thought was really, really respectful.
Yeah.
They did not give away his table, and
Nope.
instead they dedicated it as a kind of like
Mhm.
memoriam to him. So
Yep.
like it was actually I've never seen anything like it before,
No,
where it
it
was just
was-
like his table and it had like all these flowers and
Mhm.
you know just these little.
and like people could come up and leave
mementos.
notes.
Yeah.
And, like I think a lot of the artists down there did so.
I think
like,
so too.
Like he's an utterly incredible artist. So
Yeah.
it was really nice to see, but also like it was sad.
Heartbreaking. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and also I want to shout out. We saw Chris from Comics Ropes. He was there, and we got a
Yes.
chance to hang out for a few minutes.
You
That was a
did.
lot of
I
fun.
did not.
No,
was,
it's true.
I was in line.
No, that's right. But yeah,
because I met Steve from Blue's Clues,
that's right. He was there.
and it was delightful.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, that was all your experience,
Yes.
but I'm glad you got a chance to have that
Me
experience.
too. We're not usually the people who wait in lines for autographs like that,
Yeah, we
but
don't do
every
that
once in a
anymore.
while.
Yeah,
we
once
go
in a
for it.
while.
We go for it.
So let's jump into some super chats
Yeah,
really
let's
quick.
do that, and then we'll switch over to the
to
next
comics. Brian Rollins, as always, can't wait for the rewatch. Comic Pop rules. Thank you very much,
thing.
Brian.
You rule.
Axe says Comic Pop. Woo! Thank you very much, Axe. We do appreciate it, man. Woo indeed. Woo. Yahoo for comics. Irons Comics says, "Hey guys, hope your day is going well. I am currently in the middle of reading The Kindly Ones.
Nice.
Wanted to ask if Cy Spurrier's The Dreaming is any good."
It is. It is. And like if you're just fresh off of reading Sandman, a lot of stuff's gonna resonate with you. Because Cy does his research and clearly like there's a whole like group of friends over there. So like he knows his stuff. Like it's quite good. Is it different from Gaiman? Of course, because they're just two different writers with two different voices. But like I think he does a very nice job. If you haven't already, you could also pick up Overture. If you want to do a little like pre-gaming. Yeah. Not pre-gaming, but like a little prequel kind of thing.
Carl Maxey, if the Celestial were to judge the DC Universe characters who would pass or fail, how wild it would be if Batman fails and Red Hood passed. Well, Red Hood is an unapologetic person, but so is Batman, so it's interesting.
See, it's interesting too, but like, I don't know, Batman does the same thing over and over again. It doesn't really change anything.
No.
But like he continues to think that he needs to do this, so he might not pass.
Yeah. I think it'd be interesting to see. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Or that concept. Mongoose, the artist, heard Superman stuff was announced by at New York. Am I wrong? No, you're not wrong. They did announce that Josh Williamson's taken over Superman, and John Kent's getting a different book, and the Superman family is going to be really relied upon. They introduced some new characters earlier on, and everybody got new costumes for no good reason whatsoever. And so I'm not excited whatsoever, but like I am excited to read Josh's Superman. That's the only thing I could care about.
There you go.
Chocobo Kid, I got the notification while watching Werewolf by Night. Now that I just finished watching it, it was amazingly good. Well, I'm glad you liked it, man. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit. But Ray Farr says, "ComicPop woo!" Hey, another woo.
Woo! I love this is the day of woos.
Yeah, liked each of your interviews for CBR. Tiff's hat game is always on point.
Thank
Either
you.
of you have any hype for Gotham Knights? Not so much. No,
not really, but I am going to
couldn't
play
care
it,
less.
and I'm hoping that I get hyped for it. Because sometimes when I'm not hyped for a game, like
It'll
with
help.
Ghost of Tsushima, like I was like interested in it, but like I was not like hyped for it, and it turned out to be like one of the greatest games I've ever played for me. Like it was just a great experience for me. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. And also, thank you. My hat game was actually the same for 3 days in a row.
Yeah,
because of like I wore it the first day and I liked it with the outfit, and then the second day I was like I'm gonna wear it again, and then the third day I was like I found out I was doing the interview, so I was like.
Well, I guess
I thought I was doing it the day before.
Yeah.
So like I was like, that's my interview outfit. And
right.
then I had a
Chocobo Kid says, Tifftober, let's go. Nice to hear you two had a good time in NYCC. Well, thank you very much, Chocobo Kid.
Thank you so much. And by the way, it was so nice to meet so many of you that this year we got to definitely put some faces to some names that we've seen in the chat before. And
yes,
so it was
some of them more than others, like some of them longer than others.
Yeah, like some people that we've seen in the chat who are here right now. It's very nice to meet all of you, and thank you so much for being so kind and just being awesome.
Yeah, it's great to meet you, and we're looking forward to seeing you again someday soon.
Yeah.
Max Finkel says, "Hey y'all, lot thoughts on Astro City? Thanks. Honestly, here's a little thing. I've never read Astro City. I know that Kurt Busiek, really that's like the thing he is known for, and I at that point, I was not a big like JSA, like old school, non-established characters kind of like fan, and we have it, but I've never bothered. Ray Farr, I don't know much about Todd McFarlane, but he seems like a cool dude. I've been going crazy for his DC figures. Every fig is a work of art. They're great, and I dig them. And as I understand it, part of the deal of making Batman Spawn was that they had to make the action figures too. So we are getting a Batman Spawn 2-pack, or at the very least, we're getting Batman Spawn figures. We are at least getting a shitload of variant covers that are all dope looking. And so, yeah, and Todd is very like fun and interesting and down to earth and well spoken. It's a really great experience talking to him no matter what.
It was insane that like Todd McFarlane was there, Greg Capullo was there, and Frank Miller was all at the convention.
Yeah.
Like
Frank was less accessible than the others, but
for
like
sure.
it was cool. I didn't even bother. I was like, maybe I'll meet Frank. Nah, because we have the ticket to meet him in Baltimore.
I hope so. I was like, I want to be like, you better show up this year.
Rami Darwish says, great job on these CBR interviews. Well, thank you very much, Rami. We really appreciate it.
Thank
you. Tom says, hey guys, hope you do well. Hope the Fall of X stuff is a BS misdirect and looks like Connor is the new stylist for the Super Fam with them jackets. I know, right? The 90s are back. Jackets. I'm waiting for boob windows, more 90s trends. But yeah,
But
man,
like boob windows across for
like,
everyone,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
for anyone and everyone.
But hey, I remember when we said when Hawks, Pox, and Docs came out, I was like, Fox is coming.
Oh yeah,
Here it is.
yeah.
Cat Lawyer will defend for treats. Did you see the Ultimate Spider-Man mod? Looks dope. I've seen every mod, and they're ridiculous. Ultimate Spider-Man, MTV Spider-Man, all the mods for Spider-Man have been incredible looking. I've played that game so much, I'm not going to get a PC version. I'm good.
No, that's fair.
But you know, I would
guess
like to see
I have
them.
to replay it at some point before the next one comes out
Yeah.
because I have no saved game file anymore. I don't know what happened to it. It's just gone.
That's rough.
It is rough.
Mickey Veach, I think reading Amazing Spider-Man would be much more frustrating if it wasn't a bi-weekly schedule right now. We're 10 issues in and we still don't know what Peter did. Imagine writing monthly for that.
Or waiting monthly.
Waiting monthly for
You're
that.
going to have to wait if you watch my interview.
That's right. That's right. But honestly, like, that's, yeah, I don't like the bi-weekly schedule, and I guarantee you they don't either. So, you know, that's not, you're not the only one who hates it. Pedro Vengas, favorite creator that you met at New York Comic Con. You can't pick your favorites, but I will say that like all the creators that we did meet were awesome. We had a creator come up to our table while we were doing a signing. We had 2 creators come up to our booth while we were signing, and it was really, really terrific to meet them.
Yes, and like
I
feel really badly because they gave me a book and they were like, you should bring it over to that booth, and then we had to leave to go get lunch, and I never got back down there. And then when I remembered, the book was at home.
Yeah,
but what matters to me is I'm going to read it, and then we'll talk about it.
But yeah, it was great, and there's no shortage of them.
There's so many creators that I enjoy, like just in general, and having a chance to meet them. But my favorite interaction, I think, was the Peach Momoko one.
Oh yeah. You know, but you know, Josh Jim Zub was there. We hung out with him. We bumped into him a couple times. I saw Ryan Stegman the other day, which was really fun to like reconnect with him and the guys. You know, I saw Donnie for a few seconds. That was fun.
I only saw Meg.
Yeah.
But not that I know her. I just know her name.
Yeah.
And she's super cool.
MMN says, I feel the problem with current Amazing Spider-Man run are the mid-arc issues, the 900 issue, the Gala issue, the AXE issue. The actual first arc of the run was quite good. I'm sure the next one will be as well. I know a lot of people really like the first arc, so I think I think that's the problem, is that it's been mired in tie-ins and interruptions.
Well, it's not helping too, is that they're also launching into an event, and like he's not going to do anything with it. I think he's till March.
Yeah.
Or after December sometime.
Right, exactly.
No, because it launches in December, so things are not going to be revealed until March.
No.
So, but that's okay. Like, you know, it's just whetting your appetite.
Yeah. Denial, Werewolf by Night was the most pure fun I've had with an MCU property since Ant-Man. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be really in for a treat with Ant-Man 3.
All right, so we want to talk about Dark Crisis.
Let's talk about Dark Crisis, shall we? I mean, like, listen, it's Dark Crisis. It's written by Josh Williamson with art by Daniel Sampere. I am very happy that that team managed to what's it called? Keep it together. Like they were able to like
they kept it together.
They have kept it together. Like they were able to like work as a team and not have to like worry about delays or you know, having to find another like artist work with them. You know what I mean? Like there was no, it's the same creative team the whole time.
Right.
And that's fantastic. Yeah. So this book is issue 5 of 7. We are getting closer to the end of the crisis. I believe the crisis has just begun. I remember you saying, I think on the last issue 4, that was, if they had started here, you'd be more excited about it.
Yes.
Now that we are here, obviously we've had the Elseworlds revealed, the Heroes worlds revealed. They're breaking through and they're reuniting the Justice League. Meanwhile, Dick Grayson is working feverishly to try and like figure out how to deal with the Dark Army and what's it called? Well, not the Dark Army, but rather the Deathstroke Army.
Sorry, there's a great super chat.
The Thorn Identity. No, you're mired in tie-in, Sal. I don't know about that. I do have a lot of. I feel like my tie-ins. You know, they're relevant. They're important. They're key. They reveal things that are really important to the story.
It really got me.
No, it's true.
That is so our
You're mired in tie-ins.
That is so
fair.
You fit right in with us.
It's true.
Yes.
So Dark Crisis, you know, Dick Grayson's taking the fight to Deathstroke. The Justice League is reforming. They go and face Pariah. You know, key moments are revealed to have been revealed in tie-ins, and then revealed that doesn't matter. You know, you don't have to read them because like Flash shows up and says like, what is it? Pariah isn't controlling the darkness, or what was it? Is it the darkness isn't controlling him? Or he's not controlling it?
Yeah, he's not controlling it.
He's not controlling it. It's controlling him.
Yeah.
But he thinks he's in control.
Yeah.
And he's got his machine. And he relaunched the multiverse in the previous issue. So now, and then they're falling apart. Oh no. It's not stable. What's he gonna do?
What's he gonna do with that multiverse?
Yeah. But we also found out that apparently the energies that are being created from the Elseworlds made for the Justice League are being siphoned to help respawn this multiverse, and that the heroes themselves are tied to it. So if their Elseworlds die by like leaving them, then so too will they. So hey, listen, there's some stakes here. What if the Justice League, it's united and free, but like if they go back to Earth Zero, that means that the Elseworlds will die and they too will pass. I don't think that's true.
Sure.
But some serious shit is happening. Plus, like, Superman figures out how to use his.
You already killed him once. I bet you won't do it again.
Yeah, well, okay then. We'll see.
I bet I do.
I bet I do. I don't think he's going to, but
I don't think so either.
No, he will. Like, it'll look like they die and then they won't. But
Okay.
it's cool. We're seeing fun fights. We see a great moment in which Dick Grayson like rallies the troops together. We saw Black Adam fight like the Legion of Doom, who are then co-opted into Deathstroke's Dark Army or whatever, like their tools.
Sure.
We're seeing some fun key moments, but like the whole thing is all about like, let's cause the crisis. We have to cause the crisis. And I'm watching this whole thing unravel. And this issue in particular was the most crisis feeling to me, because not only are they referencing the crisis, but also the fact that like it feels like everything is spinning out of control. And this is, and not in a like hypercritical metatextual kind of way where I'm like, no one's driving the bus. It's DC Comics, so no one is driving the bus. But like, I do get this impression that like, the Pariah's motivation to respawn the multiverse is understandable for his character, but like anyone could see it's a trap. Like literally anybody.
Literally anyone.
Except for Pariah.
Okay.
And I buy that. I buy that logic. Like I buy that. Yeah, Pariah has no fucking idea because he's just such an idiot. And he is like, no one has any respect for Pariah. He's no one's favorite character, and like, and he's just like, he hasn't said anything different since the beginning.
None of them have.
Well,
And
that's true.
That's what I like. So you're like, you said that like Black Adam did all the stuff, and I'm like, all I see.
No,
Black
he didn't do
Adam
anything. He's an idiot too. Like
is yell.
Yeah.
And then act like he's gonna punch somebody, and then that doesn't happen. I think he punched some people in this.
Yeah, he punched some people in this.
But like, really, all he's doing is yelling the same thing. Like, you're not the Justice League.
Yeah.
You're never gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he's been doing.
Yeah. That sounds about right to me. That's Black Adam to me.
Here's a real question though for you.
Mhm.
Here's an actual and this is a legit okay. So Pariah's like in this issue, like early on in the issue, he's just like he's talking to I think Far Sector and Kyle.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, like they're like talking about the Justice League, and he's like, of course they're gonna come back.
Right.
Like
They have to come back. I'm counting on it.
And then they come back, and he's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, okay, wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. I can't explain that.
Like that, I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, you were taunting them about.
It's like you were like banking on them. You were like acting like, yeah, no, they're coming back, and I need that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then it happens, and you're like, how could this have happened?
Right. Well, I don't know if he's saying how
I'm missing
he's not saying how
be.
could this have happened. It's more like he keeps refuting what they're saying. Like they free themselves like he's counting on. And then they're like, we're going to stop you. And he's like, no, you're not. Like, it's just like.
No, when they show up, he acts like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, and I don't understand. I can't account for that.
I don't know if it's like he's like, you're here too early, or like it was supposed
it could
to
be
a
that they were
different
too.
Justice League.
It could be that they were there too early. It could be that maybe they weren't supposed to free. I don't know. It's.
Maybe a new Justice League had to form, and they're the ones who are supposed to show up.
I doubt it.
It's not clear.
No.
And I don't know if it's not clear because we haven't hit the end.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think you're going to get
fair.
the clarity you're seeking.
Okay.
But I do think that
this also did feel like the most crisis-y to me, because there were some straight up panels where I'm just like,
who is that?
What?
What's happening here?
Yeah, and like this book definitely did one of those things that like irks me at times where they're just like, hey, this thing that seems like it's super important because someone's yelling about it happened in a tie-in.
Yes. That's always the worst. But for me, that's always, I like it only in as much as where I'm like, thank you. Now I don't have to read it. Like,
I suppose.
like when Flash runs in, he's like, I got this machine and it turns out this thing. I'm like, thanks for saving me some money.
I was also like, okay.
Or like when Damien's like, follow me. I'm going to be in a tie-in. And I'm like, no, thanks.
Listen, I'm gonna really try not to just like
Bag on this book.
Bag on this book and sound like a broken record because we're literally 2 issues away at this point from it being over, and then I'll be able to look at it in retrospective and go like, yay or nay for me, right? But right now, it feels like we took too much time in the beginning not doing anything so that this issue didn't have enough time to breathe because like Superman gets all glowy and then uses powers, and then all of a sudden everyone from their respective like bubbles are here, right?
Yes.
And I'm not saying we need a full-on like explanation because I have a feeling that probably happens in their tie-in issue.
Yeah, no doubt.
Whatever. But like maybe like one of those like big splashy pages where like they creatively show us them going from bubble to bubble to get everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know why that bothered me, but it did. And I think it's only because we stopped to get Batman.
Yes.
Like if we hadn't stopped to get anyone.
Right. Then I would have gotten it. Then it's like,
but
oh,
we stopped to get Batman.
We stopped to get Superman too.
But Superman was a key player. Like we had to do that.
Yeah, Batman's just there because he has to be.
Although, honestly, like what was Flash's plan if Superman didn't have this crazy power?
I mean, I think that he would have probably run as fast as he could. I mean, that's what he does.
I mean, that is what he does.
Superman would have found another solution because that's what he does. Batman would have outthought the problem. That's what he does. Or Diana would have.
I know, but like
become 100 feet tall and turn
like,
what
what I'm saying
gold.
here is that like Flash is supposed to have a plan.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't really have a plan, or at least he does, and his tie-in suggests it. But but we don't see it executed, and it's not very clear.
Right,
in this
and
book.
It just feels like in this book, all that Flash is doing is relying on the fact that the story knows that Superman has the plan.
I mean, like on one hand, I do appreciate the reliance on these characters knowing each other and working together. Like part of trust is like going, I don't have a solution for this problem, but I do trust my friends to help me come up with one.
Right.
Especially Superman, who is going to solve the problem. And I would hope that like,
but he didn't know that he was gonna
get glowy and take the energy from his own universe and like have it unravel.
I know the story knew that.
The story knew that, and Flash did not know that. But like, we don't get the context for how.
And maybe that's why for me this felt more like a crisis book because not all crisis books are
cohesive stories that like have a beginning, middle, and end with a protagonist. No, that's very true. This is very much a crisis. Like it earns the title Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths because like I don't care who complains at me in the comments after the show goes out because that happens every episode where they're like, oh, clearly he doesn't understand like he didn't read it or he doesn't understand it because like he thinks that Crisis on Infinite Earths is like this directionless nonsense book full of random characters that like only has one thing happen in it. And I'm like,
they should actually direct that at me because I'm the one who definitely thinks
I don't care one way or the other, and I certainly don't want them to direct any fury at you, but I am saying like this is very much like in keeping with the Crisis on Infinite Earths theme of it being like just kind of like let's focus on these characters for a second and then move on. Although I will say I think it is interesting to see on everything about this works so well as a pitch and on paper. Not the paper it's printed on, but on paper that you're writing down, where you say what's happening and you describe how it's happening through the lens of the characters who it's happening to. Dick Grayson, for example, the idea of Dick Grayson clearly being kind of like the next generation of DC. Like DC has tried to come up with legacy characters, to come up with some new generation of DC pantheons since the Crisis. Like since Crisis 1, they have been like, okay, who's the next generation though? And like they've tried, especially at least in the 90s, like 3 different times with events to be like, this is what's happening. This is the big thing that's happening next. And it's like, these are the next characters. But clearly, Dick Grayson is the guy. Like the Titans are the future. The sidekicks are the future. And they always have been and they always will be. And there was a time when the Titans were groomed to be the next generation and that they could work side by side. The Justice League and the Titans work in tandem, and kind of like in the back of your mind, that one day the Titans will ascend to be the Justice League.
Yeah.
And it probably won't happen in anyone's lifetime, but we know that's the plan for the future. But then DC kept going, and continuity kept stretching, and they kept trying to ape off of the new generation of audience members and give them like cool jackets or boob windows or whatever.
Yeah, no.
And so they're like, they kept getting crowded, more and more crowded. But like, these are the few, like Dick Grayson's the Rod. And so seeing like the Justice League go away, a reality in which the Justice League is actually gone. And Dick Grayson is like, no one told him you're up. And he doesn't ascend in the first 3 issues of this book.
It's almost like he was meta reading his own situation where he's just like, it's not really.
I don't think so. Well, he was definitely, because who wouldn't if you knew, if you've seen Superman die at least 2 times. Yeah. If Batman was hit by an Omega sanction during your lifetime.
Yeah.
And you literally had to go back in time and save him. Like that, you wouldn't buy it.
No,
you wouldn't believe that it actually was your turn.
Yeah.
And so but also I like the idea that in his character, like Dick Grayson doesn't believe it, but he doesn't want to believe it because he doesn't want to fill those shoes.
Yeah.
And I like that idea. I don't think it's explored to the fullest extent that we're described, but this is what this book is.
Right.
Us talking about it, that's what's actually happening, but we don't get panel work that actually says that.
Right. So then in my opinion, that's not what's really happening.
No, I agree.
Like,
but it is happening. It's just happening in between all this other nonsense, like Black Adam like pissing his pants all the time.
Right, but like, so it's like we're trying to make room for that story, but in order for that to happen, we have to spin our wheels on all these things that should not have their wheels be spinning. Like the fact that like Deathstroke just keeps Deathstroke's doing and saying the same thing for the past 5 issues.
Well, and getting
Black
more.
Adam has been doing and saying the same things for the past 5 issues.
Yes. No, I agree. I
get it. We need if you need time to let Dick go through all of this,
right,
and to like unpack all of this, then you need to craft the story around that.
I agree.
We're not crafting the story around
because it's also a crisis.
Shove that story into something else.
I don't think we're doing either of those things. I think that rather than like shoehorning that into a story that doesn't fit, we're not doing either of those things. We're just getting that meta read, and we're getting the book shouldn't be 7 issues. Like, there's not 7 issues worth of stuff happening here.
No, but there could be.
Oh, easily.
I said, like, I feel like these last few, and we're going to see, because I don't know. We're 2 issues away. I have no access to 6 or 7, but I feel like these 2 last issues are going to be super compressed.
They are.
And it's like, there was no reason for that.
There was no reason. No, we could have spent all that time building up that stuff. But the fact is, we have too many characters, none of whom are doing anything in particular.
But if you need to have all those characters, then like, why do we keep showing?
I know Black Adam, Deathstroke, Dick Gray. Like, why are we showing the same 4 characters doing nothing?
Doing the same thing, like
the same thing.
Like, I just feel like a lot of the things that they've been doing haven't really been progressing anything or setting anything up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that every story needs to do that, but when you are doing a crisis, sometimes you do have to do those things.
No, I hear you. Like, I mean, the problem is like the Crisis of Infinite Earths. It was all about like the Anti-Monitor getting his weapon and being like, I'm gonna blow this shit up, and he does that for 6 issues. You know what I mean? Like, and people kept jumping in his way, breaking his cannons, and doing all kinds. You know, like, it's a lot of wheel spinning, but there's more panels because Perez drew it. So it's just like you're seeing a lot more stuff happening to different people throughout that book. This is like it's 2022.
Right.
We got to spend more time on these double page splashes.
Okay.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying like this is where it is.
I know. And I've got 2 things. One's going to take us in a different direction. So I just want to,
all right.
I'm going to try to keep that in the back of my head and not lose it. But like, you're talking about legacy characters, and like, it seems like DC is desperate for like the Sonic equation.
Yeah.
Where it was like, and I don't mean like the food chain, I mean like the character where like Sega managed to put a bunch of people in a room and like come up with a character that actually worked. And we
got a bunch of uncreative people together to make a corporate mascot.
And they forced it out there, and it actually worked, and people fell in love with the character.
Yes.
And like there's like fandom surrounding it, but like that doesn't always work.
No.
A business doesn't always get to decide who becomes the fan favorite.
That's right. The audience always decides that.
Right. Like, so why are you like desperate to try to find these characters? Why don't you just like take a second and go like, hey, where is our audience like looking right now?
Right.
Like, if you're so worried about the corporate element of it, like, why aren't you doing that?
I don't think they know.
And then guiding.
Because I don't think there's any leadership or direction in DC Comics. And I think that's one of the things that this is actually emblematic of the major problem. It's actually, I love this book because it will always be like a flag that says this is what DC Comics was like before you know, the dark times, or before like the company was split up into a million pieces and all these characters were sold off to like the highest bidder, or that like someone showed up and charged forward and made this like world, this universe cohesive. You know, like it is chaotic and there is no leadership. And like meta reading this book, I actually think it's kind of fun. I know Josh Williamson. We have talked before, and I will say that anything I say on this show is never privileged information. So I should tell you, I can draw a distinction between what I know and what I don't know. And I will tell you that he has never talked negatively about the company, and even if he did, I would never know about it.
Right.
But I can say that as a comic book fan and as an industry, you know, watcher, I think this comic is, whether it's intentional or not, a perfect distillation of what it must be like to be a DC fan, work at DC Comics, or run DC Comics, where there is no main character. There is a desire, a desperate desire for someone to work, for something to lead us or to catch and make us all this money. And I think it's also kind of awesome because there's no bat focus. Like Dick Grayson notwithstanding, like Dick Grayson opened the book. Dick Grayson's clearly the main character of this book, but he is so far removed from the Bat family in this book as a character that like he almost doesn't even count.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of brilliant for them to go, I mean, easily Dark Crisis could have been all about Batman, but the last three events have been.
How do you feel? How do you see that?
Well, just because
it's Batman?
Just because you could say Batman. Like, yeah. Dark Metal or Death Metal was a Batman event. They tried and you remember them saying it in the interviews, this is a Wonder Woman event. I'm like, no, it's not.
Not really.
It is a Batman event in which Wonder Woman somehow is like, I don't know why I keep showing up in these. Like, why am I in this panel? Like, why am I the one who's to fight the Batman who laughs?
Yeah.
Why am I the one who's to make the chainsaw? Like, what is this? Why am I gold? You know, like,
well, I guess,
but this is a directionless thing that I think is actually kind of like fun, and I hope that it represents like the world that we're in, and that it will find focus at the end. Because I saw that like there's a teaser for the end.
Okay, I haven't seen the teaser.
You've seen it. It's like the New Dawn or something like that. It's Dick Grayson at the helm.
I have not seen that.
Oh, well, there's a teaser for it. It's been out there, but it talks about like the new age. People are like, what is that? And I'm like, I think that tease, and I don't know what's going to happen. Like I can tell you, you know, hand to God, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this damn thing, or where the direction for DC is. That like, if there is a plan, or if there is an execution to that plan, we will get it at the end of this book. And maybe it should, because Crisis is not a fun read. Like the Infinite Earths is not a fun read. I've read it a million times, and I can tell you, like, I've never enjoyed it. It's just like, oh my God, like the art's fun, you know, and the concept is like fun, you know, because it's comics, you know, but like it's work. It's a textbook.
Right.
It's the Silmarillion. It's just like, damn it.
This doesn't necessarily feel like that.
It's not as dense. That's the thing. But like, neither are the problems. DC's problems are not that complicated. Like, that's the thing, right? Like, and that's, I think, why they keep saying the same things, because like that's what everyone's been saying. Everyone's saying the same things about like how to solve these problems, how to run this company, how to deal with these characters.
If this book is like crazy meta at the end of it, like I said, like I will be happy to go like I was wrong.
Oh no. But I don't think it's going to, because I don't think Josh Williamson wants to be fired.
Right.
You know, and Grant Morrison did the same thing at Final Crisis, when like the editors were actually these Draculas that suck the creativity out of you. I'm like, that's meta from a person who knows they can't be fired.
Right.
But like, I don't think that Williamson's going to telegraph like, fuck you across this book.
Right. Okay. And like, I agree, because like I said, like, I don't think Williamson's a bad writer.
No, he's a great writer.
I don't think he's a bad storyteller. I just don't understand where this book is coming from his skill set.
I mean, I don't understand why who asked for this now. And it's like,
I don't know.
But I think that's so cool. Like, I don't know. It's like I'm an archaeologist or an anthropologist. I'm like, what is this?
Right. And like, we're 2 issues away, and that's when we're gonna really know what this is, obviously. But like, you know, I was the one at the beginning of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Right? Being like, if this is gonna be something that just reboots the universe, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Right. And if it's not, I don't know why we're doing it.
Right.
So it's like, either you need to commit to something here. Right. So if we're just doing this to do this, like, it has to have done something.
I think it's going to do something. And I think
and again, the only reason I say that is because it's a crisis, and they're directly referencing things that made like earth-shattering changes to the DC mythos and universe. So you have to do something, right?
Yeah.
So for it to be like, okay, so the Titans are in charge now, or even if it's not that,
Yeah.
what are we just chasing our tail here?
Right.
Like, are we going to reestablish the multiverse? Like, wait, the
I mean,
multiverse is
sure.
back.
Well, we only have 52.
Right.
And then the Infinite Earths came back, but they're shattering because it's not stable.
Right. So like, they bring like Pariah's machine out, right?
Yeah.
Like, is the Anti-Monitor going to show up and be like, hey?
Nah, he's shown up too much. I mean, like, what?
But like, he's intrinsically tied to that.
Yeah, but at the same time, so is the Monitor. He's not in this. The Monitor was actually in one of the Dark Knight's books, and I'm like, oh, come on, you know. What would the Anti-Monitor represent in the tumultuous times at DC Comics?
What?
Because if you can answer that question, then you can tell me. You know, like, just like I've been pitching forever, and they're not going to do it, and I'm sad to say that I wanted Tempest Fugonaut and his freaking like action figures from the Dark Multiverse to show up. You know, because they'd been teasing the Dark Crisis during DiDio's time when they were going to do 5G and all that other crap,
right?
And they didn't. And so there's a lot of funny Tales from the Dark Multiverse books in which Tempest Fugonaut talks about how important he is and how important this freaking stupid universe is that we don't care about anymore.
Well, maybe. Okay.
And then have them show up and then have them all be slaughtered immediately. And except for Tempest Fugonaut, who's like, oh, and now I'm useless. But instead, someone killed him in like a backup of a Superman book because they were like that petty about Dan DiDio. And I'm like, man, what a wasted opportunity. But like, apparently we're just cramming in all kinds of like meta reading into this book. Let's put that in there too.
Okay, maybe the Anti-Monitor would represent the knee-jerk reactions of DC to placate random like criticisms that they get.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, like the Anti-Monitor shows like, this isn't how you start a crisis. This is how you start a crisis. Yeah.
Or like when they were committed to doing 5G, and then like, not that I'm saying I would have wanted that or how it would have turned out, but when they backpedaled from that immediately after fan reaction.
Yeah.
Or like firing people or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I love that. I love that. I think that's great.
But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. We got 2 more issues, then I guess we'll know.
Yes.
Well, then we'll know.
Then we'll know.
Yeah.
But I think that
but
my joy is derived from the meta reading and from this representing a I'm anthropologically watching a thing talk about a thing that's happening right now.
Sure.
You know, it's like being in a Shakespeare play when it's happening, like when it was played.
Right.
Like,
and admittedly speaking, like, I'm not a new reader to DC, but
No.
I'm also not a legacy reader of DC, except for certain things. There are certain
right, but you don't need to have read DC for 40 years to get this book.
Right, but what I'm saying is that, like, you know, there are people who are maybe appreciate this because it makes reference to
older things,
or you know, they're just all
or
about
because Sideways is in it,
or because that, right? Which I was like, is that Sideways? And then like literally,
I think someone said that.
Yeah, they literally like it's like a page later. I was like, oh, thank you.
Someone's like, is Sideways in here? He's like, yeah, man, I was really important for a little bit.
Come on, guys,
remember me?
I'm
Sideways.
But like, you know, this book is like, you know, they're obviously like the marketing side of DC is like new readers.
Yeah,
you gotta get new readers. This is not for new readers.
I haven't seen any marketing for this book
like,
whatsoever.
I also don't know who. Well, I meant like just the team itself is always thinking about.
They're always trying to chase new readers, but I don't think they're doing it. No one's thinking about new readers.
But they would like them.
Sure,
but like this book is clearly like you're not gonna be like, here you go.
Oh yeah, no.
Here you go. But like, I'm also like, is this for legacy readers? I don't know.
I think it is because I think I mean, no one is. I don't know anybody. I haven't seen any major complaints about this book. Except for you. But like, I haven't seen anybody complain about it, and I think it's because like you're getting things that you've always wanted to see.
Oh, sure. And I think there are moments like that, like when the
Titans unite,
and like
fight Deathstroke's
Dick
army
says like that line where it's just like,
we're not the Justice League.
You're like, yeah, no,
we're the Titans.
We're the Titans. I was like, that's gonna be like, hopefully that'll probably be a fan favorite moment, right?
It is. I think
like,
I love that
those moments for people that will like ignore anything else that might like irk them about the book enough for them to go like, it's fine because I got this moment.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I am saying for a person who hasn't had who I'm not like invested in it necessarily like in the moments in like that.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking at this objectively.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Right.
I'm like,
whatever.
But like this is kind of like,
you know what this is? This is a Kevin Smith movie for non-Kevin Smith. Like when you know this is a non-Kevin Smith fan watching Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. You're like, why is Jason Lee playing a different character? Like I wouldn't notice. What are all these references for?
I mean, I guess.
I think that's what it is. Because like if you don't get it, you're not in it.
I suppose. I think it's more that like it's the story structure is so bizarre, and the
It is very
pacing on
bizarre,
this
and the
book is so bizarre. Because how many
I don't even think
times
it's bad. The thing is, I don't think the pacing's off because I don't know what the story is.
I feel like it's definitely off.
I think it's
Only
it's
because
almost avant-garde. I think this is really like, I think this is like,
maybe
I've never seen anything like this.
well, sure, for sure, but like,
Except in Crisis.
Listen, I have you and I both agree that like the best way for a person to, or like a great way for a person to start reading comics is just to grab a random issue. In order to do
But
that,
not a Crisis book.
No. But I'm saying in order to do that, a lot of times
Yes.
you jump into the deep end,
Right,
right? And like
right.
I've done that many a times,
And it hasn't been as vexing as this time. And you
Bingo.
started in the first
And I'm
issue.
not saying I don't even feel like I'm in the deep end because
You're not, because I know who these people
I know
are.
who these people are. I know who Pariah is.
Yeah.
I know his story, and I'm still like,
What are you
what are we
doing?
doing here, people?
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
That's why I like reading this book, though, because I like these conversations.
I agree. I think it's fun. But I also, I think this is a meta book.
Admittedly, I do think that there are fun, cool moments in this for people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it is giving you things that, like, the fact is, if I think that there are things where it's like, if Williamson didn't give you this moment, you'll never get it.
Oh, sure. No, I understand that.
You know what I mean?
I
Like,
definitely understand.
and I'm not
that.
saying that like that's worth it or that's like that's valuable, because I don't think that's why he writes, to give you things that you've always wanted to see and then leave. Like, he's not an uncle who goes over and gives you candy and then leaves. You know, it's like, hey kids, let's go to the zoo. I'm gonna fill up with candy and I'm gonna go home. So and knowing that makes me think like, oh, like, I think he's saying something deeper about what it must be like to work at this place.
Yeah, but all right, we'll see. We'll see.
Because the universe is chaotic, and like the fact is, like, it is a nightmare to read DC now. Not that it's like bad. There are great books, Detective, Batman. You know, I hear the Flash book is good. I would never read it, but like, you know, not for any particular reason, just because I don't give a shit. You know, but there are books out there that are great. There are books that DC's publishing that are fucking garbage.
I mean, you can say that on both sides.
And
Like,
you can say that Marvel's doing it too. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
but like this is we're in the corporate comics world now.
Mhm.
And people thought in the 80s that was where we were. And they you know, you have no idea, people from the past, what it's like now, how bad it is. I'm not, and I'm saying that during a period when some books that are published now are better than any comics ever published.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No,
not
I
ever.
feel-
You know,
I-
I'm not
no,
talking about
I
like
feel
I'm better
you.
than Watchmen.
No, it's not like, listen, I don't want anyone to like imagine what I'm saying. Like, this is the worst thing I've ever read.
not. I
or
mean, I don't
whatever.
think
like,
anyone's saying that.
I don't think that at all.
Mhm.
I just like,
Yeah, it's just you're frustrated because you know that Josh Williamson's great and you really want to enjoy this event. And especially after the Metal Wars were so fatiguing, it'd be cool to get something really cool. Because like the Metal Wars, yeah, I get it. I know who but it's like, I know who the beginning, middle, and end is. I know what the protagonist is. I know what's going on. And obviously, like, clearly Perpetua was supposed to be the bad guy, and DC editorial came in and was like, no, Batman laughs. He sells more money. You know, like, yeah, okay. And they did it, you know, whatever. But at the same, and that was empty calories. That was just eating a fucking Guinness for dinner. You know, it was just like, oh, great. You know, it had no
that's
vegetables.
not empty calories.
Excuse me. but it is, and you know it. But you got to put that in a stew or something. But like,
Oh yeah.
you know, this book, it looks great. The characters are all these are the compliments I can give it. It looks fantastic. I think Daniel St. Pierre is doing an amazing job, and he's delivering on moments that, like, I don't think he'd ever think he'd be able to deliver on. And I hope that longtime DC fans are getting these moments that are like, yeah. And I know I harkened back to it before, but I loved that scene of getting like Alan Scott, the oldest generation, with the newest generation, with the younger generation. I want to see like, Dick is not the youngest generation, but it's like the old guard and the new guard. You know, nobody thought that like Bart Allen or Sideways is going to inherit the DC universe. It's Dick Grayson, but I don't know. It's interesting. I find it a fascinating read, and especially when we get into it, because like I don't ask any questions after I'm done reading it. I'm just like, yeah, I get it. Yeah, okay. I mean, like, but it's been reiterated several times. Like, yeah, no, we've been spinning our wheels, or maybe we haven't, or maybe we're supposed to be, or maybe like at the end we find out that like this crisis happened 16 times, or each time that the issue ends, the crisis had already happened, and like that's why we keep repeating ourselves. Like, who knows?
Or
maybe hyper time is happening.
Daying it.
Yeah. Like, and each time they change something different. So like there's another epic battle where Black Adam's like, the Justice League is dead, and Dick's got to fight somebody else.
And that would be like, all right, what character could show up to be like, I've been keeping you in a bubble because until you can figure this out.
Right, because the Spectre's in chains. So it's like, who's bigger? You know, the presence, I guess. God himself is like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, and he
or the darkness is doing it.
And that represents the fact that we keep like rebooting and like
and doing the same goddamn thing over again. I mean, like,
even though we say it's different,
it'd be great if like that was the case. The Great Darkness was doing it. No, the Great Darkness is just making Pariah think that he's going to start the crisis, but really he's just been doing it the whole time, like over and over and over and over.
Right? He's just okay.
Like, if you get what you want, you'll stop. But if I keep getting you to think you're going to get what you want,
you're going with that. I thought it was like the route was like someone was like, you have to learn, you have to stop doing this.
Right?
Like,
Yeah,
it's not like nothing's really changing.
I mean, that's the presence controlling the Great Darkness,
right?
Being
like, you guys just keep doing this over and over again to know.
Right. But the joke is, like, so
and you can't stop.
You can't stop. Like, it's not like they're going to learn their lesson at the end and actually like move on.
He's like, I'm gonna have to let you go.
Right.
Like, that's fine. But like,
we've seen books like that, unfortunately, where where they do go like, we can't do that, we can't keep doing this, and then immediately they get rebooted.
Oh, then we gotta do it
because, like, I mean, we're the people in charge run creative.
We need to do that.
Yeah, but I don't know. But it looks great. I think that the characters are all super consistent. You're getting fan favorite moments that, like, I don't trust. Like, people talking about. Somebody gave me a hard time about this like not too long ago when I said it like 2 years ago, and I was like, what the fuck, get with the times, man. But where I remember when people were like, oh man, is Marvel going to reboot? And I was like, I don't trust anybody today to reboot Marvel and come up with something better than what like we have the foundation for.
Yeah.
Because even Hickman, who constantly created new shit and went like, oh, the thing you thought? No, this. And it's just that, but like a race of them or a bigger thing. Not to rag on Hickman or anything like that, but like that is all of his Secret War saga. But and X-Men for that matter. Oh, did you know there was a secret society of mutants and actually they're in charge of everything? Like, all right. But I don't trust the current crop of creators to do that, like to reboot. And I don't like, I don't trust the powers in charge of these two corporate comic companies to trust, believe in, or deliver to the audience that actually reads this shit. Like, I just don't trust them. And I think that the further, I mean, like, I'm watching it all. It feels like it's coming apart. I'm watching these companies like hire these people that just have no idea what this universe is. I mean, clearly we've talked about this before, like Marvel and Discovery. I'm sorry, Disney and Discovery. These fuckers didn't get in the business to publish books, to tell stories. I mean, you look at how they made. I just read this thing yesterday or the day before. I heard they shot Indiana Jones with like 6 different endings and like 3 different scenes just so they could edit it. They could patchwork it together. They're like all the Marvel movies, all the Disney movies, all the Star Wars shows, all the Star Wars movies for the past like 5 years have been made like a choose your own adventure novel. So they can just be like, well, that can go, because like they're not creative and they don't know the direction they're going in, and they just want to make a product that will go in a direction that will make the most money. And and that is the least creative thing I could possibly imagine. I mean, like on paper, that's like a neat idea or like a fascinating concept for a movie studio to go, well, normally what I do is I pay a fucking talented person to write a story, and then I pay 1 million people to put it together, and we tell the one story. But what if we did the exact same thing, but I paid like 16 people to write 16 versions of the same story, but it all goes in different directions, and I pay 2 million people to fucking tell all those stories for half the price because I'm also cheap. And I'm like, that sounds impossible to achieve, and more terrible than that, impossible to want to watch. Hardly nourishing. One of the old criticisms, it's like, well, at least the person who made it, like Deathbed, somebody wanted to tell that story.
Yes, they did.
But like, I want to get Man-Thing on the table, so let's do this, and I don't care how he works, just put him in it,
right?
So we can use him one day,
right?
And it's like, ugh. And if you think they're doing that on a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar level, that they give a fuck how the comic book publishing business works or how to tell those stories, I mean, for God's sake, like that Spider-Man bi-weekly thing, like that shouldn't be, that's a temporary thing, man. That's supposed to help you through the rocky season, and then you go to monthly again. Comics take a while to make and write. You can't be churning this shit out. And I know I'm talking in different directions. I'm on 6 different streets right now. But my point being, like, the people in charge of these things don't know what they're in charge of. Used to say, Marvel did this, driving the bus. Like, someone drives the bus in one, like on a track, and the other one doesn't even have a driver at the bus. And this one is more like, no, this is the red car. We sold the red car to make a freeway. There's no buses. We hired a guy, who's like from Twitch to run this company. They don't know shit about how to make a book. I don't know. This book represents for me a lot of like, we're watching the new guard and the old guard work together, watching like new art come together to tell old character stories. And we're watching like editors who I firmly believe that there are no editors anymore.
Well, there are.
Yeah, but they're not. They I don't know what school they graduated from, and I don't mean that. And when I say school, I mean put it in quotes, because I don't put a lot of stock on like, oh, you graduated from this school. No. If it's in a creative field, School of Hard Knocks is probably the most like important educational experience you're going to have. But like, I don't know where they learned their trade, but I think they need to have some kind of reliance or belief in what came before.
Yeah.
Even if they're going to be hired to be innovative and come up with new ideas. I'm watching the wheels come off, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I mean, maybe this whole thing was worthless, and I didn't actually say anything of value. But like, I feel like I don't know. I don't know. I'm watching this whole thing happen. Maybe like that's why it's a crisis, because I'm having one. But Ray Farr says, I'm planning on buying the first 100 issues of Spawn in 2 compendiums based on Sal's suggestions in the previous streams. Are there any other Spawn recommendations? Obviously, Curse of the Spawn.
Do not buy that book.
You should check out Hellspawn. Crazy book. We did that on GBU. Remember that Hellspawn book? It looked like it was painted.
Yes. Oh, that was that was
sick.
Good.
Carl Maxey. Did you notice any time you read anything with Batgirl, she looks exactly like Tiffany? Totally ripped off Tiffany's likeness. There's, I still firmly believe that Tiffany appears in Thunderbolts #2.
I don't, though.
No, I don't really. I don't think they know her. Denial. Hold on. Is Black Adam not a dictator anymore, or are they just hoping we'd forget? No, he is. I think it's just that he's also like the crisis is happening, so he's busy. He's like, oh, I gotta yell at everybody first. Comic Tropes, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here, man. Says, what's the coolest cosplay you each saw at New York Comic Con? I don't know, man. There's a lot. I saw a lot of cosplay, but like I thinking about who I saw that was like, that's awesome.
That Batman was pretty good.
I mean, the Dark Knights was really neat to see them all together.
Honestly, incredible.
How impressive that was. Yeah.
I saw a woman who was like cosplaying, but also like it was like not a true, it was like almost like, like Disney bounding kind of thing. It was sort of like that, but she was dressed like Storm and like, but not really.
Yeah.
Like she was wearing this gorgeous like black dress and like that was long, and she had this like over, like it wasn't like cape, it was like a business cape, but it was white. And like she had her hair all done up, and then she was wearing like the like she just looked I was just like, you just look like you're going somewhere and you're really put together.
Yeah.
But like, I know you're Storm.
Right.
Like,
right. You just told the whole story.
Yeah.
I will say there is an audience member who we met who was the Riddler.
Yes. You told me about that. I did not meet them.
The way he looked, sounded, the way he dressed, it looked like he had like, Joker shows up in Dark Knight and he has the custom suit, and it's like, that is not the Joker's outfit, but like, that is 100% the Joker. Like, he wore a suit. He didn't buy it. It didn't come out of a bag. He got a Riddler suit. And he looked and sounded and acted like the Riddler. I was like, that is what the Riddler is. Like, I've been complaining about like how we haven't seen a Riddler.
Yeah.
Except for like John Glover's in the animated series, but like that was the Riddler.
Yeah. Come
to life. And he gave us a riddle. And I was like, I don't want this moment to end.
And I was gonna say we ran into a Pyramid Head and a Doctor Strange. They were not together. They were having a conversation. It was worlds colliding for me.
Because those are your two favorite media characters. Like, well, not. I mean, Pyramid Head isn't a character. You don't like love, but he represents. And he was the real Pyramid Head. He had the trapezoid. I was like,
what is happening? Also, at the end of the con, we ran into Kratos.
Yeah.
And instead of boy,
it was girl.
It was girl. It was a father-daughter combo. Oh, they were
great.
They were incredible.
Yeah.
Like, good for him. She was adorable. She
100%.
had the bow and arrow. She's like, he's posing. She's right. She was like little.
She was such a little thing.
She's just little. She was. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Those two.
I agree. Ray Farr says, any interest in the Black Adam movie? I personally couldn't care less, but oh my god, the costumes are amazing. Adam Smasher and Dr. Fate are on my faves. Dr. Fate looks great. I love Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. What a great idea. We got invited if you want to go see it. Like it's like in a week or two.
Okay.
I was like, maybe. I couldn't care less about Black
You know
Adam.
what though? Like I like movies like that going into them.
Yeah.
Because like we just get to go in and we're just, hopefully
Right,
we'll enjoy
exactly.
ourselves. Like
he also says, does Wally West still have Barry Allen's origin and rebirth? Wally and Terry are my favorite legacy characters who earned their respective mantles. I agree. They're great. And yes, I think he still does. Yeah. Z Swimmer says, how are y'all Flashpoint Beyond? Surprisingly fun. I also enjoy it. I liked it a lot. I'm enjoying Flashpoint Beyond. I think it's cool. I got nothing else to say about that. Okay. Guillermo Solas says, hey, Sal and Tiffany, sending a super chat for the first time. Thank you very much, Guillermo. I loved Werewolf by Night. It was spooky and campy and fun. I wish it was longer. Gael Garcia as Jack Russell was the highlight for me. Nice. We were going to get into it.
We're like an hour 20 into the show.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But yeah. I was just reading a pitch by our friend, The Thorn Identity, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that'd be cool. Ray Farr, since it was announced 2 years ago, I thought the MCU special was called Man-Wolf by Midnight. Egg on my face. Man-Wolf is a Marvel character, too. Well, Tiffany was like, wait a minute, is this the one with the crystal in his chest?
Yeah, literally, I was like, wait, no, that's the other one.
Yeah, no, this is actually like a werewolf.
Well, we had literally just talked about him.
Exactly.
Or no, we hadn't talked about him. There was all those shorts you put out.
Yeah, that's right.
About him.
Yeah.
And I was just right there.
And Tom, calling it now, issue 7 will have a double page spread revealing Tempest Fugonaut as the Darkness with a McFarlane ad for his new action figure in the back of the book. I hope so, man. I want a Tempest Fugonaut figure so bad.
Maybe he could appear holding his own action figure by Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, Todd just shows up. He's like, I'm the creator now.
It's just Todd.
Yeah. Ray Farr, Sal, be careful, don't fall off the soapbox. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm trying to wrap it up. Sorry. Yeah. Thorn Identity. Nah, you're definitely in near orbit, Sal, just because your ranting doesn't make you wrong. Well, thank you very much. I want to be wrong. I don't want to be right. I don't, I mean, but it's like, I'm watching things like, I'm watching things coalesce and I'm like, Riv Wilson, just popping in, but I can I say I'm so here for Reporter Tiffany and for CBR. Yeah. I'm here for you, yours too, Sal, but I don't read Spawn. That's fair.
Thank you. I realized I had like a different-ish voice than I use when I was doing that interview. Like it happened. I was like, okay, this is what we're going with.
I know. I was like, oh,
it's my. I don't know what that was.
Right.
That was just.
Yeah.
I was there. Sal wasn't even in the room. He left. He
no,
like,
I said, do you want me to stay? And you're like, no, get out.
I wasn't like that.
You did say. You said no.
I'm like, no, it's okay.
No, you didn't say it's okay. You said no, go. Werewolf by Night came out a couple days ago. It was part of a spooky special celebration of Marvel Monster Madness on Disney Plus, and
I've got the Monster Madness.
Help me! I've got the Mind Goblin. But yeah, Werewolf by Night. Directed by Mike. I believe it's Michael Giacchino, who was a composer. And then decided he wanted to make this.
That's why I know that name.
Yeah, you do. No, every time I hear that, I'm like, I know that guy. He makes music and stuff. But yeah, and he directed this movie. He loves old like 50s monster movies and wanted to make a kind of like homage to it. I at no point did I think no. Like when leading up to this,
right.
Like I saw the trailers, I saw like the buzz, and I was just like, at no point was I like, there's no way this is gonna be any good. Or at no point was I like, they're going to fuck this up somehow. I was like, all right. The fact that it was a special, that it was short, that it was featuring characters that are niche, the fact that it was like for a holiday, and in the light of having made all these other things, like, there's an old saying for like, when you're acting, when you're creating, when you're writing, when you're making stuff, one for them, one for you. And I feel like this is one for you. Like this is one of their like, I want to make something. I don't give a shit about like the greater MCU.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, well, you are introducing a whole bunch of new characters to the MCU, and it would be really cool to see them. So like, I guess you kind of are, but like, I'm not interested in all that other stuff. I just want to tell this one story. And it was funny because while we were watching it, like when we first pulled it up, I was like, oh my God, like remember how like the Werewolf game was like a big deal, and like they made that Werewolf movie that like nobody saw that had the girl from the AT&T ads, and I was like, man, like werewolves are kind of big right now. Marvel has a character for everything. Like if we go full circle and like we're all into like grays and aliens again, Sleepwalker is going to get his coming. because he looks like a big green alien, and he is a big green alien, and they're gonna be like, well, time to talk about fucking Sleepwalker. But yeah, Werewolf by Night. What'd you think?
I thought this movie was the equivalent of Marvel making an OGN for their movies,
Right?
And
I'm here for it.
Yeah, do more of this.
Right?
Do more of this for sure. Like, do these like genre, like, remember when
the
like,
one shots.
Well, no, I was gonna say when like, WandaVision came out and Falcon Winter Soldier, it felt like it was very like genre based.
Yes, like here's this one, here's this one,
and we kind of fell away from that.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, we're back.
Right.
Like, this is.
I mean, She-Hulk is a different thing. That is very much its own genre.
Sure,
but yeah,
I'm like, no, this is a genre thing, and like I love that instead of like trying to drag it out into like episodes and like leave us on like a cliffhanger or whatever, it's like, here it is.
Yeah,
enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I agree. I loved it. I mean, like, I'm not a horror fan. I get it, and I've seen them all because when I was a kid, I was a movie buff.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna watch it all. So I watched like every monster movie, every horror movie, I watched like stupid, weird, creepy Italian movies. Like I saw it all.
Yeah.
So like I was like, okay. But then eventually I'm like, I don't care about this anymore. Like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I did the research. Now I'm just gonna watch like Quentin Tarantino movies and cartoons.
Okay.
But this is, I didn't see any cynicism in this. This didn't feel like an attempt. I've seen some attempts by creators to make something that, like, the worst is you could imagine them saying, like someone saying, Marvel's gonna make a Grindhouse movie and going like, no, you're not.
Right.
Like, you are not.
Right.
This felt like one of those trailers from Grindhouse, like from the Planet Terror, Death Proof movies, where it was like, here's this.
Sure. Well, yeah, but this is not Grindhouse.
Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu, really that kind of thing.
This is.
But this is a B horror movie in the MCU, and but it didn't feel cynical. It felt like a genuine, like, let's make this.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. I was convinced that like at the end, or that like something was going to happen, like they were going to use the Bloodstone and it was going to turn to color.
Like early on?
Yeah. And I'm very happy that they didn't do that, kinda.
Right. No, they stuck to their guns for the most part. Like with that, they're like, no, we're doing this, and like, good for them, because I can imagine how confusing that is.
Oh yeah,
for a lot of folk.
Oh, I'm sure a lot of people didn't like this. I think.
What's not to like?
Oh, because it's different.
Yeah.
Because it's black and white. Immediately, subtitles in black and white, you will lose 50% of your audience. I'm sorry to say.
Well, I would say now I think subtitles less so, depending on the audience you're trying to reach.
Yes.
Because of anime.
That's true. Yeah, anime's kind of changed the game with subtitles a little bit. Mm-hmm. But the black and white is really going to lose people for some reason. I don't know why. Certainly the Hollywood fat cats seem to think that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gail Bernal as Jack Russell, I thought he did a nice job.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, you do your own thing. I don't know Jack Russell from Adam. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to an accurate portrayal of Werewolf by Night, you can do whatever the hell you want. This ain't Moon Knight. Knock yourself out. Right. I'm saying that, of course, because Moon Knight debuted in a Werewolf by Night book. But like, I thought he did a nice job. Fun. He serviced the story. He serviced the character. Like, it all worked. He did a nice job.
Yes, I agree.
Everybody else, they're swinging for the fences when it comes to like ham acting. I got some from Harriet Harris as Verussa. I got some serious Queen of the Spider-Woman from Voyager, Kate Mulgrew vibes.
Oh, is that what you got?
And I wanted Kate Mulgrew to play her so bad.
No, I got like freaking Young Frankenstein.
Oh yeah. Was
it Blucher?
Yeah, Frau Blucher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah. So like, but yes, along those lines,
right?
For sure. No, I thought she's chewing the scenery, but on purpose, not
Absolutely.
because it was like, I'm not good at this. I'm so good at this. I'm able to do this.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Shout out to the flaming tuba.
The thing was incredible.
It was something I wasn't expecting.
No.
I thought all the hunters were good.
Yep, they were good.
I mean, obviously, some of them given a little more to do, like Barrasso and Leon just had fights.
Yeah, they were fights.
Joven, clearly the bigger one.
Yep. More fun, like, fun character.
Yeah, Azarel barely in it.
No, Barely a character.
But,
Like didn't need to be in it.
More like just a costume.
Exactly. Right. It's like, okay, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
But what'd you think of Laura Donnelly as Elsa Bloodstone? Obviously, further ginger erasure in comic book movies. But yeah, I thought she was fine.
I thought she was fine.
I got some Jessica Jones vibes off her rather than Elsa Bloodstone.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's literally, I was like, ooh.
Like, oh, you're just doing monster Jessica Jones?
You're very Jessica Jonesy. I initially had thought that like possibly the reason why they went with darker hair was because
of the black and white. Could be. That'd be a shame.
Yeah, like very much. I thought that's what the reason they might have gone that way.
Yeah.
Secondly, I don't blame her for it. I think they missed the mark a little bit on her character.
I think that the last shot she has.
Yes, but that's unfortunate.
Yes. Because it might be the last time we ever see her.
There were a few moments where like she got me.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, there she is.
Yeah.
There she is. But there was too many other moments for me in this where I was like, that is not who she is.
Yeah.
Or not who she should be.
Right. Also, I thought that Elsa Bloodstone was British. I don't know why I thought she was English, but like Laura Donnelly's Irish and she played it Irish.
Oh, I did not get that with my ear.
Okay. Oh, well, if she was doing an English accent, it was muddled badly.
She didn't really have a whole lot of lines,
which is kind of a real shame.
It's not her movie.
I thought it was.
It really was.
It was their movie. It was Jack and Elsa's movie.
Yeah,
like they're the protagonists.
Here's a little story about Jack and Elsa.
Yeah, but she's not English. She's Irish.
No.
Oh, Elsa is English. Or yes, the character's English.
Like,
okay, thank you.
I'm
yeah,
like,
I thought so. I thought she was English.
Yeah.
But we had some moments in this that were it's not going to be the comic book. It's never going to be the comic book. It's fine. But yeah, I was disappointed that she didn't have like a fiery I was disappointed that she wasn't just monster Jessica Jones. Like I got like from Laura Donnelly, I got like Kristen Ritter, Netflix Jessica Jones.
I did. I think what didn't help that was that she looks like her.
Right. It doesn't help. Yeah.
That didn't help at all.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
maybe all white women with black hair just look alike.
That's very it's frozen. Elsa's Welsh.
There you go.
Which do not mistake.
Yeah, no, that's not English.
But yeah, I just didn't think they nailed her character.
Yeah.
At all. Like it's weird because like she had the fighting prowess that she should have.
Yeah.
And occasionally she had the attitude. It would just fade sometimes.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, no, like her cowering in fear. It was just Giacchino wanted to use her as in a number of ways.
Yep, they wanted to make one role do multiple things to like tick the boxes for this style of movie.
Right, like she needed to be like the damsel in the sequence where he transforms. So she because that push in, like that was the shot where the push in for her as he was transforming.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it was a good shot.
Yep.
But I don't buy Elsa Bloodstone as I know her, as you know her.
Yeah.
Cowering in fear of anything.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that at least, on one hand, then it's like, okay, well then if you get like, you can have like an A-Force moment in the MCU where it's like, we get freaking Elsa, Jessica Jones, and space green hair.
Gamora?
Sword.
Brand. Abigail Brand.
And Abigail Brand. And they're all like...
she's dead, man.
Right, and they're all just white women with black hair, and they all just sound exactly the same. Like, I'm really worried that, like, Marvel's like, I don't know what, like, makes these women different.
I mean, I don't know if that's the case necessarily. And
like, it's Jessica Jones on street, Jessica Jones in magic, and Jessica Jones in space.
And just because we have to say these things now, guys, just because I'm giving her a hard time
doesn't mean that she isn't great.
In all of this, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Like, that's what I think made it such a good movie, was despite the fact that I was like, wow, this really is not Elsa at all. I was like, I'm still loving this movie. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
So
chill, shut up,
yo.
But also like, but I also buy that like this is her origin movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like this will be like when she eased into like taking over the castle and being her own thing. I'm like, yeah, right on.
Sure, I get. You know what? I would buy that if she didn't have if she wasn't able to like kick ass and take names so much.
Yeah, but she got we had the shotgun, but she didn't use it.
Yeah,
I was like,
oh, no shotgun. Okay, cool.
Well, it's there. It's on the floor. She'll pick it up.
Also, I'm like, was that gemstone not embedded in your father's chest because that's where it's supposed to be. You got to pry it out.
Yeah, we already did that. We did that off camera.
That's fine, and then maybe they did.
Also, was that severed head a Wendigo? Let us know in the
Maybe.
comments down below.
I also noticed, and like maybe they'll do like if they ever continue with this character, there'll be a reveal of a brother.
Yes,
But I'm like, oh,
we're just
Cullen.
not gonna.
Sorry, Cullen.
Yeah,
Not today, fam.
right. Yeah, but I liked it. I liked her portrayal. But I was waiting for some.
Yeah, no, like I wasn't like mad, and I wasn't like ew, and it didn't
No, it was just-
ruin it for me. But I was like,
The problem was I was getting a lot of Jessica Jones vibes from the Netflix show, and I was like, nah.
yeah, and I just, I expected a little more like cheeky snark. Like there wasn't
Right.
enough cheek. Where was the cheeky?
No, well, that's because I think that would have clashed with the tone they were going for.
Sure.
But at the same time,
She could be cheeky.
oh yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, and then we talk about the man thing in the room. Man thing. I mean, first of all,
You put man thing in him, but anything.
it's like so man thing, who they don't call man thing at all, but Ted, accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Looked better in color than black and white. Somehow,
I didn't mind him in either.
oh,
form,
I liked him. I'm just saying,
no,
I was like, how does he look better in color?
I was surprised he looked good in color.
Yeah.
That's what I think it was. I was like, oh, okay, because usually like
Oh, you're hiding him.
you're hiding some stuff, but,
Right?
Like, I thought, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not a man thing purist, but I do, so like making him kind of like cute,
Mm-hmm.
but he is cute, and I do like that. I honestly I like his design more than Swamp Thing. Like I always like Man Thing. Like I'm not the world's biggest Man Thing fan, but between the two Swamp Things,
Yeah,
I'll take Man Thing every time.
I think Man Thing has a like more. There's something very iconic about it. Not that there isn't
Yes.
something iconic
About
about
Swamp
Thing, but like there is something there.
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, it's just like the impression of a face. Like there's nothing there that says face, and yet you get a face out of it.
Mhm.
But making him like cute or funny,
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
Well,
I was okay with it.
Here's what I hope they don't do is like Groot him up like too much.
Yeah,
But
don't Groot him up.
I did like him like quite a bit. Like
Yeah. And I like him. I like him being scary to others, but like friendly with Jack.
Yeah.
And Elsa. But like I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that worked.
Again, here are some moments that got me, and you were in the room with me, but like it's like when we see like
the footprints,
and then we see him touch someone,
and he burns, and I'm like, they did it. He knew fear.
Do not fear the touch of the man thing.
Real burn. He looked great. Yeah, and I love the burning, and I liked. I liked that he was the MacGuffin kind of. I love that, like
Well, yeah, because it was so, you go into this and initially you think like, oh, the Werewolf by Night will be the thing. And it's like, and then immediately I was like, oh no, Man Thing's going to be it. Okay.
Right.
I don't want to say anything. We're in the room with people.
Right. Yes. Yes.
But I was like, oh, okay, that's where we're going with this.
Yeah.
And then you quickly realize who out of the room is the werewolf.
Right.
But it was just charming.
Yeah.
It was a charming movie
Yep.
that like, if they ever decide to go with this again, I don't know if we're going to get this.
No.
So I think treasure this and enjoy it, because like I think now that like the end of this movie, I think we're going to move into a more modern era and look for these characters.
Yeah, like the next time we see Elsa Bloodstone will not be in a like horror movie setting
or black and white. So like I'm just glad that they did it.
Yeah, me too.
As it is, like we got this, and like if we never did it again, like it would be a shame. But like, listen, like I was like, this is a rewatch for me. I would absolutely rewatch this. I had like so much fun with it.
And I'm hoping that like if it's successful, I think it will be, because I think people are hungry for something different. I think that like, especially in the light of She-Hulk, not like I'm bragging on She-Hulk, but like, it's divisive and it has its own identity. And so it's like, hey, something else. Like, oh, you know what? Like, I'm either digging She-Hulk and I want more, or I'm not digging She-Hulk and I want something else. Either way, everyone's going to watch Werewolf by Night. Like,
it was also like well timed, as much as I think they should have put it out the weekend or the week right before
Halloween.
Yeah. Like they did put it out in October, which a lot of people like treat October as an overall spooky time.
I mean, so what was it? The Hocus Pocus 2 did not come out in Halloween. No. Or in October.
No.
So,
but it came out right on the cusp.
Yeah, but it should have come out.
It should have. But like, so like I think that was really well planned on their part to be like, okay, we got to put this out now. This is when people will be more receptive, even if you're like, don't know who this character is, or understand why it's black and white. Like you're gonna be more receptive to it just because A, it's short, and B, it's like themed.
It's specific.
It's specific to the timing.
Yeah.
So I was like, that was smart. We actually watched the movie with someone who had zero
context for any of it.
For it. Like is familiar with the MCU, reads zero comics, no idea, doesn't normally like horror stuff. And they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
They enjoyed it and was able to follow along. No problem. Yeah. So like if you have family or friends who are not familiar with this type of thing, they can get into it.
Yeah. And tell them ahead of time, like, you don't need to see anything Marvel related to get this thing. And they'll just enjoy it. Like that way they don't have to ask you every time, like, who's that? Is that somebody?
The only thing you get to do though is that at one point, like, reveal to them that like, hey, that guy once like Werewolf by Night shows up and like is who he is. You'd be like, his full name's Jack Russell, and have them cringe and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You know his last name's Russell, right? Oh my god. But yeah, I loved it. I think that we're gonna see because James Gunn directed a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which is coming out, which of course he is heavily inspired by the Star Wars holiday special. So I'm expecting we're gonna get musical numbers, dance numbers, an overall
special
plot,
guests.
Characters that will special guest stars, characters that will only speak in their native language for a full 8 minutes to open the movie, so that like you have.
Do you think it'll just be the Groots?
I think it will be. Yeah, just Groots talking to each other. We got to get Groot back to his planet for Life Day or for Tree Day or Arbor Day, I guess. But yeah, that's the plot. But no, I think that like this is a great idea. Doing like holiday themed specials, but more importantly, hopefully, this will be like where the one shots go. Because Marvel one shots, which are also available on Disney Plus now, finally, were fun, and I love the idea. And it's like, let's focus on this one character that won't cost as much. And it's like, great idea, do that.
Yep.
Let's see more of that. So I think I'm galvanized by this. Good for you.
Yeah, this was fun. I think it was just the shot in the arm everyone needed.
Yep.
To just. Like there was not a lot riding on this, and I think that helped too.
Yes. No expectations.
It was like, hey, there's something that's coming out. Like,
what?
Oh, like next
here it is.
month? Like,
I guess I'll just watch it. Yeah. No, great.
So, hooray.
Yeah, but I do want to see Jack and Ted again, Elsa as well. Those are the three that we see that have longevity. I would love to see them come back. Put Elsa in the Blade movie.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely.
By
the way, shout out to the title card creator.
Yeah.
Those were great.
They were great. Like having seen old movies,
that was so
it doesn't look like weird. It doesn't look like fake. It looked like they made it in real life and filmed it. Like good for you.
Yeah.
MMN says every superhero movie should be 50 minutes. Yeah, right? I mean, like Ali Zayadi says, hey, Sal and Tiffany, hope you were both well. I hope you were as well. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed Werewolf by Night as well as most of the recent She-Hulk episode. Did you? We haven't seen it yet. Still haven't seen the new She-Hulk. We didn't have time. We were so exhausted. We literally were watching Werewolf by Night and then fell asleep. All of us just sitting there like Ben on the couch, and we're just like, and then woke up and like, and it's like, I have to go to work tomorrow. Like, it was just, we were like, okay. let's wrap it up. Mordezai says, as an Elsa Bloodstone fan, I really enjoyed the portrayal. Sad she didn't use a boomstick. Showed Universal how to make a good Dark Universe film.
Yeah, there you go. No, I get you. I expect a little more, like I said, cheekiness.
Yeah.
From my Elsa Bloodstone, and I just didn't get that. But it really wasn't her movie.
No,
so.
it's true.
But yeah, no, the shotgun was key.
Yes.
And damn.
Yeah. Ray Far, stupid, creepy, weird, creepy Italian movies. Thank you. And
good.
I don't think so.
Oh no, we're not good.
Dr. J says, great scene, Man Thing. I'm still mad at DC for canceling the Swamp Thing show.
Yeah,
they ran out of money. They spent too much. They screwed up. That was not. They didn't cancel it for quality reasons. They overspent.
Yeah, but that was. Oof.
But yeah. Archer good. FX. For real, Tiffany, I think you should read the first couple pages of Flashpoint Beyond #5 because I think they perfectly summarize your problem with Dark Crisis as they are even being another crisis.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, actually, yeah, they do. Girk Pectus, did you go to the Sandman Audible event at NYCC? It was such an amazing, unique, dream-like experience. Sorry I missed you there. Only went one day. Oh, man, I'm sorry we missed you, man. Yes, we did see that, and it was really
we mentioned top of the show. We talked about that.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yep. So let's recommend some comic books that are coming out this week that we think that you should check out. Obviously, I'm going to read Amazing Spider-Man #11. We're going to see how that goes. Hobgoblin's back. Maybe, I don't know, whatever.
That covers creepy AF.
Yeah. Daredevil #4. Yay, Daredevil. That's gonna be great. I know it already. Fantastic Four number 48, David Peppo's Die Hard in the Baxter Building. Fuck yeah. So that's going to be great, or at least it's going to be fun. Batman versus Robin number 2. I'm reading it. It's not a big commitment for me, so I'm happy to give it a try because, like, Mark Waid, Batman. I know it's like it's kind of setting what's his name back a little ways, but I need to read it. I need to see where it's going. Do a Power Bomb number 5 is coming out, so we got to check that out. Obviously, Danny Warren Johnson, Dubbers, doing a great job. It's a clearly a visceral, important book that means a lot to him. Love Everlasting number 3 is coming out. You should check that out if you haven't already. And that it's a great book, and you could read it on his Substack, or you could buy it in the comic book store. And one or the other, I guess. And Tiffany, take it away.
Wolverine number 25 is coming out this week. It's a Judgment Day tie-in. We're going to be continuing our journey with Logan and Solemn. As Wolverine is set to be judged, so definitely going to grab that. X-Force number 32 is coming out. Judgment Day tie-in. Look at Craven being in.
Look at him go! Yay, Craven!
There's so many Judgment Day tie-ins this week, and I knew that was coming just because we've kind of come to the end of the Gillen's main book until the last issue comes out, and then we're gonna have an Omega issue, of course. But Immortal X-Men number 7 is coming out this week. Judgment Day tie-in, but Immortal X-Men is a Gillen issue. So for me, if you're not into tie-ins, that's fine. But like, if you like Gillen's work, it might be worth grabbing one of those. Additionally, if you are just interested in all of the Judgment Day stuff, I want to say that Captain Marvel 42 this week is going to be a tie-in to Judgment Day as well. AXE Death to the Mutants is coming out. It's a Gillen book all about Judgment Day. These are, for me, the closest to the main book. Yes. But again, Gillen has made it so far where you don't have to read any of these to enjoy the main. Guess what? There's a couple more tie-ins coming out, like Legion of X number 6. If you wanted to know more about the fight on Arakko between Legion and Uranos, this is the book. Apparently, this, I believe, is the issue where we're going to see that come to fruition. AXE Eternals number 1 is coming out. If you're a fan of Eternals, for the Gillen run of Eternals, you're probably going to want to grab this, just because if you missed that book coming out, this is where you're going to get more of that.
Yep.
If you're interested in Once and Future, number 30 is coming out this week as well.
This is the last issue of the series.
This is it. Yeah, this is it. So, I was really, okay, so while we were at New York Comic Con, I got to go to Dan Mora. I brought my book. He signed it for me. We took a photo together. It was very nice. But I did note on his table, it was all Batman.
No Once and Future.
And
nothing.
That broke my heart.
Yeah.
So much. I get it. You got to go where the money is.
But Once and Future got you on the map.
Well, no, Klaus got him on the map. And then Once and Future brought him even further. But that made me sad.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, no representation there.
Of this beautiful, amazing story. And some of his best work, in my opinion. Some of his best work. If you're looking for Namor, I think there's a Namor number 1 coming out this week.
Yeah, Namor the Submariner is getting a book.
Additionally, one more X-Men or AXE tie-in is coming out this week. Iron Fist. I don't know why. I literally couldn't tell you why.
Right, like, who the hell asked for that?
I don't understand that.
Okay.
I mean, maybe there's something there.
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe they just were like, hey, I want to do an Iron Fist book.
Right.
Why not? Let's see who's on that.
Alyssa
Wong. Okay.
Hey.
I said hello to her.
You
She's
did.
Very nice. So, all right. Now I'm going to check it out. Damn it.
Yeah. There is one more book that you neglected to mention.
Oh, is there?
I was surprised.
I was so looking just for, Ghost Rider number 7 is coming out. Sorry. I was really looking
No,
for
you're looking for the Axe tie-ins.
I get it. The Axe tie-ins to get them all out of the way. That's Ben Percy and Corey Smith on this. The last issue was like the celebration kind of issue. And now we're getting back into it.
Yeah. 50 years of Ghost Rider.
Yeah. 50 years
of
cool tattoo Ghost Rider riding around, being set on fire and just leaving situations.
Yeah. BB Metalhead 04 loved the end credits of Werewolf by Night. The layered effect and pulsing red light gave me a jack-o'-lantern vibe, which is perfect for the season.
Yeah,
agreed.
They were good.
And Tevye says, "Hey, Sal and Tiffany, happy to meet you at New York Comic Con. Was fun. It was fun. We got to meet Tevye. Nice. We saw Tevye, people.
We did. It happened.
Yeah. But yeah, we want to thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We are very lucky to have all of you. If one thing was certain, it was about
Excuse me. Yes, I do recommend Once and Future.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
It is Gillen writing Arthurian lore, but it's like Arthurian lore turned completely on its head. And if you ever wanted to see like a kick-ass grandma, she's not the main focus of the story, but she's there, and she's amazing. And trust me, that Dan Mora art, it's colored by Tamara Bonvillain.
That's right.
Who's the only person who should ever color Dan Mora's art, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It is unbelievably amazing.
I agree.
So yeah, definitely check that out.
In fact, if you want to know more, there's a link in the comments right now, or the chat at least, in which Tiffany interviewed Kieran Gillen at New York Comic Con 2 years ago.
I was so nervous.
Talking about Once in Future. So if you want to get the words from the horse's mouth, so to speak, there it is.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
He's such a nice person.
He was not at New York Comic Con this year, which is a real shame.
Yeah.
Girk Pectus, did you read Avatar CBS? Loved seeing more Lava Ben. No. But yeah, having a booth at least for a day or at least for an hour, meeting so many amazing people and getting a chance to talk to them, take pictures with them, and hear their stories was super incredible. Getting a chance to walk the floor and run into more of you was also incredibly humbling, and we are so indebted to you and so thankful for all of you. Thank you so much for keeping us here employed and allowing us to go on like 10-minute rants about the industry and talk to you about comic books. More importantly, it's just making this industry keep going. Thank you all so much for watching the show, for supporting us. Thank you to Super Chatters for sponsoring the show, and we'll see you guys next time with an all-new episode of Off the Rack. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and of course, check out everything else that we're doing. We got interviews coming out on CBR. We have one more left in which I talked to Greg Capullo for like a good long time. And we get some serious scoops if they keep them in.
I'm actually wondering if that's not why it didn't come out.
I bet they had to cut a bunch of stuff. Man, let me tell you something.
Yeah, he dropped some science on me, and I was like,
and we were like, oh, what? People were like behind the camera, like, what? I'm like, okay. I'm like, you cool with that? And I loved it because his handler was there. They're like, hey, you got this, right? You're good. And he's like, oh yeah. And then they left and the door closed and oops. So yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Let's just say, I'm not going to give it away, but I will say you'll be seeing a lot more of Greg Capullo's art in the next year.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Bye-bye.
Bye.